Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ask a Scientist Gaming, where we combine mediocre gameplay with expert science. I'm Ken Hansen, Associate Professor in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Florida State University. I'm a photochemist / photophysicist. I shine light on molecules and materials, and then try to do useful things with that light energy, whether it's move electrons, make and break bonds, whatever it may be, for various applications from solar cells to catalysis and fine molecule synthesis. But more importantly, joining me today is Dr. David Knapp. David, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Well, I don't know about more importantly. I'm Dr. David Knapp, Assistant Professor of Music Education at Florida State University, and I shine light on musical practices in the classroom.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice spin. I like it.
Thanks.
What do you typically teach?
Man, my job at FSU is the raddest of jobs. I teach intro to DJing and beat making and intro to rock band, all towards classroom practices. So the idea is, how do we teach these things to my students so that they can then go out and teach it to their future students?
All right. Equally important, what game are we starting with?
Oh my gosh, we are starting with Gears of War 2, a game I've not played since 2012, but it has a prominent place in my life in the period of time that I was playing this game. So
That's awesome.
I might regale you with stories of trying to finish my dissertation.
This was grad school. Oh, that's
Yeah, well, it was, yeah.
So my
All right. So, oh gosh.
my grad school vice was World of Warcraft. So
Oh.
I feel you.
Okay, well, so these are very different types of games, though. World of
Yeah.
Warcraft has a memorpage, and then all of the stories about people having like addiction issues with it.
Yeah.
I think would probably hamper yours. No, mine. Well, let me go ahead and start the game, and then I'll
Yeah, you can walk people through.
I will get murked while telling you about. Gosh, I don't know. Tip the spear.
Yeah, so that's the start. I got you past the load in menu and the
Okay.
instructions. So.
And I'm looking at this image on the screen, and much is coming back. I don't know if my buddy Brett Brown is joining the stream. He probably not. He's got kids, but but this game was at his house in Philadelphia. Oh gosh.
Anya, you still here?
Don't worry, it'll come back quick.
Oh, wait a second. No, let's get out of here. That's not what I want. How do you
Press start and the right button.
Okay, that's right. No, I want the Horde. How do you go?
I don't know.
Let's return to main menu.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play the single player.
Oh, I see. You don't want to do campaign. You just
Yeah,
want to do,
I want to do
like waves. Of
there we
guys.
go. Exactly.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want. Because otherwise, you get too caught up in the storyline. It's like, no, I just want to kill some aliens, man.
Yeah. You don't want to partition your focus between enthralling discussion and gameplay. You just want to murder things
That's
sometimes.
right.
This is what professors do at night. They just play video games and murder things.
Oh god, I wish. Okay, that's right. Now, okay, Avalanche. Oh, I know. Avalanche is my Sprechen my Deutsch here. I know exactly. Okay, the trigger is the bottom one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Because this was... Man, when did this come out? This would have been the original Xbox? 360? The original didn't have the bumpers yet.
I see. Oh no, back.
I don't know what that is.
I want to say yes. To continue. Okay, right. Okay. Press this. No. Oh, that's the bumper. Oh, this. Okay.
Yeah, it's loading. 4,
Okay,
3, 2,
great.
1. So when was the last time you played this?
2012, but I may have actually visited it briefly since then. But in 2012, I was dissertating, and I was kind of having a hard time focusing. And I should say I got my PhD from Florida State, so I was here in Tallahassee. I was having a hard time finishing my dissertation.
Let's go, guys.
And then okay, yeah, that's crouch and run. That's right, I remember that. And then do this. Yeah, the mechanics, people might remember Gears of War, the mechanics of it were very idiosyncratic to this game. So it sort of puts you in and out of this crouch mode as you're trying to figure out what's up. All right, so yeah, I was just trading, having a hard time, and so my buddy Brett, who lived in Philadelphia, he was like, oh god, should not have picked up that weapon then.
Perfect. First kill. There you go.
Okay.
Congratulations.
So I went and stayed at his house. I just went to Philadelphia, and it was awesome. He had this Y'all, I'm embarrassing myself on live television. So that's the thing about the Gatling gun. It's awesome, but it just takes so much. Yeah, if you're doing these waves with one player, you can't have the Gatling gun in your hand. You need to have something that's faster acting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it would be it was him and his wife. They had this Victorian house, again, suburbs of Philadelphia, and I would stay in the second story all by myself, and I need to find a place just to, oh, there we go. That's the, yeah. And I'd wake up in the morning, they'd have breakfast and coffee waiting for me, and then I'd dissertate for, 8 or 9 hours. And then the dude was really into beer. So he like brewed his own beer, and I would like get home and, or they would get home and we'd just start pouring the beer out. And then they'd have dinner for me. So it was like, like imagine a writing retreat where everything was taken care of for you.
Yeah, no, that's resort writing. I like it.
Yeah, and then as we're drinking beer, we're playing Gears of War. Man, that was the life, y'all.
Yeah, no, for real. Don't enter the real world.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
worth
Just stay a grad student forever. Guys, I am terrible. And part of it is that I can't remember the maps exactly.
Is there difficulty setting on this?
There is the difficulty. Well, there might be difficulty settings, but the difficulty. This is the first wave.
Oh,
okay. So that's. I mean, normally you wouldn't solo this.
Yeah.
Although I think I did actually once. I may have beaten this game.
Oh wait, the difficulty times 3. Can you change that? Is that a?
You can, but I kind of want to cut my teeth
wanna-
for a little
all
bit
right,
more.
let's do it.
See what's.
I didn't mean to insult you.
Okay, so a part of what's wrong here is I'm not finding the place to camp. I need to camp at a good spot, and there's a great spot at the end of something here. Yeah, like I'm in the wrong. Oh, it's the second floor over here.
Oh, so we have our first question of the night. Lori wants to know, what's the drink of choice tonight?
Oh, drink of choice is martini, gin, slightly dirty.
Yeah, so Lori is actually the one that introduced us directly. So she reached out to, I don't remember who the professor was, the one that suggested you.
Steve Kelly.
Yeah, so she reached out to Steve Kelly. He said, not my cup of worms.
Oh my
or
God!
cannon.
But it should be Steve on here would be hilarious.
Well, after you do this, you should tell people this is not as intimidating.
You're gonna
as
have
it
no
seems.
problems getting people within. Oh gosh! The waves are coming, y'all. I can't talk about my colleagues now. I gotta. My God! Do you see how many hash marks are there?
Yeah.
1. I got 1 kill.
Cutting your teeth, like we said.
Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of water here.
Yeah. But yeah, Laurie, we're doing a dirty gin martini tonight. I'm not a fan of olives, so I was not looking forward to this, but actually it's not that bad. It's not,
Really?
it's
Okay.
not overwhelmed by the olive juice.
I haven't had a sip yet, so
Yeah, Laurie, thank you for reaching out to the college music. I had Jillian Grasso on.
Oh, man.
She's been my one music person.
yeah, she's awesome, and she's like a Twitch native.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Her Bardic Knowledge stream.
Yeah.
Thursday nights. Yep.
I think this is a good encampment, y'all. What do you think? What do you think, stream? We should take a
backseat streaming.
Okay, I'm already doing better than.
Yeah, if you guys are curious, David's colleague, Julian Grasso, does a stream on Twitch. There's a link right there. It's Bardic Knowledge every Thursday night. They get together. I guess it's her and friends from grad school. They get together and they stream together, which is kind of fun.
And they game and talk about music theory.
Yeah, exactly. And they stopped by the stream. It was fun. Their questions were very pointed. All right, David. So you've had literally minutes to settle into the game. So I'm going to start with our easiest question, the one we like to do. And that question is, a lot of students think we're destined for this job, and we knew this from the start, and that is never true, or almost never true. So the question for you is, what was the path that led you to where you are today? What were the major hurdles? What were the major, events, the intersections, the forks in the road where you made a decision? What were the key events
love
that
that
made you
question.
decide what you're going to do now?
Okay, first of all, importantly, I just discovered the melee.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, there it is. That's the chainsaw, buddy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So so I should come clean about a few things. First of all, I'm a FSU lifer. I got all 3 of my degrees from Florida State.
Wow.
And hey, here's another curveball. I'm a Tallahassee native. Yeah, I got through the first wave, y'all.
We'll take that.
Tallahassee native, not just Tallahassee native, I'm a Waverly Hills native. I grew up in this neighborhood, Coldstream Drive, just around the corner.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know the streets of.
Nice.
Oh gosh, how do I reload? Is it no? No, that's okay. Well, that's solved it for me. Right. So then I was I got my undergraduate degree from Florida State in music and anthropology, and it was a BA.
And you knew that going into college, you wanted music?
No, well, it's like everybody else that goes into music at college. It's like I liked music in high school, so I'll just do this some more. And this was a time I think when university was less like difficult to get into. I think I applied to Florida State April of my senior year. I took the SAT like March. Didn't really think about it. Yeah, life of privilege here, where I just sort of roll into university. Let's restart from current wave. And then I was like undecided, and that was silly because at some point you need to actually like get a degree in something, right? So I declared music, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. So, all that really did was put me in a college. It didn't really get me like in a career. Here's our first customer. My marksmanship, very off. So then I played a lot of steel pan in high school. And so I continued doing that, and I got really into.
So did you go to Leon High School?
I did. I went to Leon High
Okay,
School.
because I was looking up the website. So that's the steel drum. That's a program at Leon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that was great. I had a great time, and I continued to be really into pan. So then I played pan at steel pan at FSU. Oh, you're about to get. If I could only figure out the right key command. And so I was like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and do, I hear this thing called ethnomusicology. You get to study music for other people. That sounds rad. So I added on anthropology as a double major, in part because I'd already taken a lot of the classes. And then also there weren't too many hours to add to it. So then I kind of did that. And I was towards the end of my undergraduate degree. I was feeling pretty good about the choice. It's like, cool, I'm going to go into ethnomusicology. And then I guess somebody gave me the idea that musicology is a very lonely profession, and you just sit there and read books and sit in the library all day. Thought that didn't sound good. I wanted to do something with more practice, I guess. So then I did what all good 20-year-olds do without any direction in life. I moved to New York City. I'm about to get murdered.
Wow,
That guy's
one
a
shot.
Yeah,
Brutal.
So then I moved to New York, and then I got a phone call from a former teacher of mine at Leon, and she said, "Hey, do you want to come back and teach this steel band program here?" So I said, "Sure." And while I'm at it, I guess I'll do a master's degree in music education. So then I came back, got the master's degree in music education while teaching part-time at Leon.
So music education, is that the College of Education or music?
No, that's within the College of Music.
It's within music,
Different
okay.
different institutions do it differently, but the College of Music here is just so. Man, I got to get these nice headshots because they.
Oh, it doesn't matter where you hit them.
It does, and 0 kills that time.
Wow.
And this must be really depressing for anybody that's watching this, just to see this middle-aged man just get killed.
It makes you feel any better. This game is ancient to most of our audience, so they've never seen it. So it's the hardest game. You guys should try it.
Yeah, it is.
No one has ever beat this level, ever.
Exactly, right. No, it is pretty hard. And then also, you never really play this one player. Like normally you have 4 people here, and you've got like plans, not just improvisation,
communications, and
exactly,
names for rooms, and the good old days of LAN parties.
Oh god! And then of course, smart people know when to run. Not that it's gonna matter.
I like it. I like the damage scale on this. The little indicator in the center.
Yeah, so you can come back like that recedes if you don't get hit for a while. We just haven't had the fortune of not being hit for a while. I think in just a few minutes I might change the map just because I feel like
Yeah, it's
I don't
pretty
remember this
exposed.
map that well. Yeah, exactly. There's others where you can like camp out at the top of a stairwell.
All right, sorry. So you came back to Tallahassee. You were doing your masters.
Yeah.
You had to pick a flavor of masters.
Yeah, so it was music education in order to teach steel band, I guess, better. I at this point I had committed I am going to be a music teacher. I am going to become like, the best at this like somewhat narrow genre of music, steel band.
Yeah.
So, God, what is reload? It's like, there it is.
I think you did. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then I really liked it, man. But the problem is there's the music ed degree, and so this is all tied to like certification and other things. There's like specific kinds of courses you need to take, right? So you need to take your woodwinds methods, you need to take your brass methods, your conducting. You got to take all that stuff, and usually for your master's degree, you'd already taken that in your undergraduate. But I didn't do that. So my master's degree was 86 hours for a degree that's normally 32. And I was doing that while, at first I was teaching part-time, but then towards the end of it, I was teaching full-time. These guys, aren't those the rocket launcher guys? Maybe not. Maybe that's different.
That was full-time just steel band, or you had other classes?
Eventually it was full-time steel band. I started out part-time steel band, and then every now and then I would teach like a guitar class added in. But then it was full-time steel band. The program, when I took the program over, it was one class. By the end, it was 6 classes plus like an entire adult program.
That's intense.
Like doing stuff in the evenings as well.
I mean, it's a big enough school, right? You have a reasonable population.
Yeah,
Got interested.
2,000 people, and then you also have, and this maybe dovetails to some topics later, but the idea is like, we can't have these like specialized things like steel band or rock band because that's going to cannibalize the stuff that really matters, like choir and marching band. At Leon, that was never the case. The enrollment at Leon was about 43% of the students were always enrolled in a music class.
Okay.
Which is pretty intense amount. So yeah, we had a award-winning choir, marching band, concert band, one of the best guitar programs in the country, and then also one of the best steel bands in the country. So yeah, which is cool because it's a neighborhood school, right? This isn't a private school. This is just like the regular neighborhood school.
Yeah, that's what my kids are zoned for. So
Oh, nice.
Excited.
Yeah, they should do the steel band. Yeah, or anything, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Find what they love. That's the goal.
All right, I gotta switch this map.
Lori's wondering what years were you here for your? Well, you did master's and PhD. What was your window?
Yeah, so I got my undergraduate in 2002, my master's in 2007, my PhD in 2012.
All right. So you got your master's, then you were like, I need to stick around and do a PhD.
Well, so I got like super into steel band, right? Like all people at that age, you want to develop a mastery of something. Maybe not all people, but some people that like to, I don't know, like learn and like, I don't know, like professions. Oh, did I just suggest select the same map again? Darn it. Okay, no, here we are. Here I get to, nope, not Avalanche. Sorry. We are moving on. Blood Drive, I can't remember. Oh, Day One. Oh, that one's... Yeah. Oh, okay, Pavilion has that staircase. We're going to do this.
All right. Take the high ground. Let's do it.
Exactly. So... What's the question? Steel band?
After your decision to do PhD after master's.
Oh, right. So I like got really into it and I was like writing papers. I mean, at this point I was done with my master's. I was writing papers and like going to conferences to present on like the role of like multicultural music education and steel band in K-12 public schools, United States. And I'd have to take like personal time off of work to do that. And I was like, wait a second, like, why am I doing this? I clearly want to be doing something else. So, and at this point I taught public school for 6 years. And I was going to go somewhere else. But I walked into the guy that was at the time leading the music ed department at FSU, sort of a big name guy, Cliff Mattson. Walked into his office and he just like was like, nah, you're coming in here. We're going to give you an assistantship. Like, oh, okay. I was just coming in here for some advice, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, yes, then in 2009, I came back for my PhD, 3-year program. Yeah,
right.
and then I like, I don't know, I did this sort of like diverse musics thing, but I mean, I guess we'll get to the rest of my career later. But I've slowly moved away from that and more towards like what's sometimes referred to as vernacular music, the music that young children usually like to make and do, like pop music, rock music.
Lori, I am also a Madsonite.
Oh, Lori. Wait,
Minion of the Mads.
is this Lori, the current chair of my department, Lori? Is this person's name spelled Lori?
No, this is the chemistry graduate advisor.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember Steve said that this was the connection.
Yep.
Cool.
So Lori was in the music department here.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then, found herself in chemistry, and we're really glad to have her. She's
Hey,
great
that's great.
So the best part is, like, scientists are, tone deaf and insular, but Lori's actually friendly and reaches out to students. So we try to recruit students.
But here you are
She's very
doing this
helpful.
very social thing.
Well, the ironic
So you
thing
can't
is
be-
I'm a raging introvert. And here
yeah.
I just play a character, right? So
Right.
on screen, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
But also, I genuinely like learning. So, like, throughout the night, I'll learn a lot from you because your expertise
Dude,
is
it's so
detached
killer.
from
Okay,
mine.
when can I start asking you questions?
I mean, we can whenever. Audience, if you guys have questions, throw them in chat. We'll answer them. I promise we'll accommodate any questions you have.
Oh, you're about to
Otherwise,
get
we're going to sit here and drink
chainsaw.
and shoot the shit while playing Gears of War.
You're about to... yeah. Darn it.
Rage.
Okay, first sip of the night. Y'all,
Yeah, let me know how
this
it is.
was an inappropriate pour for myself. This is all alcohol. This
It
is
might
all
make you-
vermouth and gin.
It's going to make you better at Gears. It's fine. It's a performance enhancing.
That is so good.
You're happy with it? This is
Yeah, I mean,
one hit?
it's my ratio. I got to be happy with that.
That's awesome.
God, that's so good.
Yeah, I was expecting to be overwhelmed by all of it. And that's not the case.
Oh,
so
okay,
I
great.
appreciate that.
Now, I mean, martinis are there's a wide, it's a wide category of drinks.
Well, that's why I emailed you, because I'm like looking up, dirty gin martini, and there's 75 different recipes. I'm like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, so when you asked me the recipe question, I was like, all right, I need to go to my my cocktail library, because I've gotten so far away from, like, I don't even know what the martini recipe is. I mean, I know what I do, but I don't know, like, what, what's typical or whatever. Not that that matters, but anyway, so I looked it up, and I do not do what's typical. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works for you. That's the nice part about learning drinks when you're older.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
have to do Natty Light and Budweiser. You can
Yeah.
actually drink things you enjoy. So look forward to that, any students in the audience. If you make actual money, it makes it much, much easier.
yeah, okay, I think this is a nice little cubby hole here for me to hide away in. Oh, come on. I just want to chainsaw somebody. Sometimes you just want to...
All right, so before diving into bi-directional questions, let's go with your expertise right now. So you just started as an assistant professor, tenure track, right? You have to, in the next 5 years, be the world's foremost expert at something. What is your niche? What are you going to be known for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I should also say I was at Syracuse for 8 years before this, so it's not. It's
Yeah,
not
you've already
totally
established
green.
something. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I guess my expertise would be removing barriers to students participating in music education. That oftentimes means participation in music ed in K-12 schools. Oh, I'm getting some shots. Okay. But it also sometimes means music education in community settings, which is something that I also have experience in, doing like rock bands with people experiencing homelessness. In Syracuse, I did a whole refugee youth ensemble rock band kind of thing. So that would be my area of focus with teaching, kind of that popular music education thing. And then research-wise, that shows up both in terms of, I think I can, that's right, I can do this. Remember this move. Come on, pop out. Cha-cha-cha.
Oh, no.
Oh,
He's
they're
close.
pissed now. Oh, yeah. That's right. Good.
I like the duck and cover feature.
Yeah, I'd forgotten how to access that, but now I feel like I'm getting into my stride. So there's a data approach to this, which I do. I do some like demographic data research. So like enrollment. Oh, this was a mistake, everybody. This was not smart.
Fine.
Oh my god. The best thing is when you get the guys, but they're down crawling, and if they get touched by their buddy, they get tagged back in. So you can go up to guys on the floor,
Revive
and you
them.
can
Yeah.
You can beat them with your gun. It's quite a violent game.
For the faint of heart, this is an 18+ screen. Okay.
Okay, good. Wait, does that mean we can drop some curse words on here?
I'm sure. Yeah, I've never shied away. It happens progressively more and more throughout the night.
Yeah, okay, right on. Yeah, so that's one way that I look at accessibility, is looking at what types of students are enrolling in certain types of classes. So these guys don't have any guns, so I can just walk up to them and murder them.
Nice.
Oh gosh, but then that's a problem. And then another way that oh gosh. And then another way that I do it is, another bit of research that I do is like community music-based popular music stuff. So how do we take music education outside of formal educational places? Oh gosh, am I really gonna lose this guy? I just want to, yeah.
Nice view.
Yeah, and do what's called like non-formal education practices. So that would be like learning in a formal space, like a homeless shelter, a place that has like, rules and whatever, but not a school. Man, it is hard to describe your career while getting murdered.
Yeah, and do it to a general audience.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's
Broadly defined.
yeah.
No, that's fun. So what your data sets for some of this analysis, the demographic data, that comes from what source?
Yeah, so I did I did a study that was like totally useful, don't get me wrong, in New York State a few years ago. That was all of their enrollment for everybody in the state.
Wow.
Sorry, high school, all of their high school enrollments. And it was somewhat longitudinal. I think it's 4 years or so. This was not good, everybody.
And so that you were able to access the demographic data and enrollment for each student? Not
No, well, see, that's the deal. It was aggregate. So, and so we're talking about demographic variables like, race, gender, ethnicity, socioeconomic status as measured by status in Free and Reduced Price lunch program, language status in terms of ELL or not, and also disability. And disability hadn't really been studied demographically in terms of enrollment. So that was kind of important and good. New York, of course, is a big state. But also what I was looking at is I was looking at course codes. So there's different types of music courses. So was this an orchestra? Was this a band? Was it a choir? Was it like a piano? Oh, gosh. So that was cool because then I could come up with some chi-squares about, so-and-so demographic group is underrepresented in this course code as compared to the overall population in the state.
I see. So the state has a universe course code system, and then you were able to, okay.
Exactly, right. And that's all done through like a FOIA request. So that was cool. It was useful, but there's some limitations in that, namely that it's, the thing is you can't get the chainsaw out if you're getting thwacked. So I was, right, so I want student level data. If it's student level data, then I can start running some regressions on these demographics, just to see what extent a certain characteristic is contributing to one's inability to enroll in certain types of course codes. Now, of course, there's all sorts of like, what sense do you make of that? Like, you can't say like, oh, because a student is ELL, English as language learner, is unable to enroll in band because band teachers are speaking too much English. Like, we can't really make any sort of,
yeah,
exactly. But you can say that there's something, there's a 13% contribution to students being able to enroll in this due to whatever.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the research that I'm doing now. I got this grant through the Country Music Association, also through this other organization called Music Will, to look at a few different things. So it's a mixed method approach, but one of the projects is getting student level and longitudinal data from identified strategic school districts. So so far it's Indianapolis Public Schools and Dallas Independent School District, DISD. So for those places, I'm getting student level longitudinal data about all of the demographic stuff, as well as the course codes that they're enrolled in. And that's really hard to get because there's lots of FERPA protections
Yeah, I was going to
around
say,
this stuff.
this is IRB approval you need for this then?
Oh, totally. I mean, you even need IRB approval for the basic New York stuff that I was doing. Seems like you need IRB approval for everything. Now, this would, in the case of New York, I'm guessing that the IRB approval ended up being exempt. I think because
No identifiers.
it's
right?
no identifiers and
Yeah.
it's secondary data. I'm not collecting anything.
Yeah.
In the case of the Dallas data, I believe it was considered expedited. But you need IRB approval there because, not to get too much into the regulations, but if there's a cell in the data that's lower than like 10 or 15, then it's conceivable that that person could be identified even though you don't have their information.
Yeah.
But in Dallas, maybe there's only one student that's enrolled in orchestra and is Hispanic and is a female and, add on all that other stuff, then you can, it's essentially like the way that we get tracked with cookies by web browsing, right? Eventually you can actually find out somebody's identity.
Yeah.
So, and also the only way that you're allowed to get these data, according to federal regulations, is if the school district basically like deputizes you as somebody who's conducting research on their behalf. And I forget the wording of okay, is this dumb getting here, guys? Oh God. But it's basically like they are wanting you to do research in order to examine better practices for their district.
Yeah, they want to justify it to their constituents or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Oh God, that was an inappropriate load.
Ooh, Lori has a fun follow-up question.
Okay,
Any,
thank you,
any
Lori.
specific reason for Indianapolis and Dallas?
Yeah,
They said yes.
well, I'm going to give you the reason that I'm going to write in the lit review, and then I'm going to give you the reason in reality.
All right.
The reason in lit review is Dallas, for example, is a large metropolitan area. I forget what size they are in the U.S., but certainly top 10.
Yeah.
They have diverse music offerings. Did I mention also diverse students? They have a broad spectrum of students there.
It's a rich data set.
It's a rich data set, yeah. Also, they've done some interesting things with their course codes recently that are going to make their data a little bit different from other people's. The real reason is the granting organization, Country Music Association, through this other organization, Music Will. Music Will has a strong relationship with a guy that's the arts guy for that district. So because you need somebody on the inside saying, hey, data person, I vouch for this person, and we need them to do this sort of external research partner stuff.
I love the fact that you have been bought by Big Country.
Exactly. I've been bought by Big Country. Yeah.
Working for the man now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sold out.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that's disingenuous because they need to help, right? They want the data. They want to know.
Yeah, I think there's all sorts of like neoliberal critiques we could make of this third space of these nonprofits. But, that then just becomes like a critique of, this world that we live in. But in terms of the actual people there that are doing things and bestowing money, CMA is like doing righteous stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't just say that because they pay me.
This stream brought to you by CMA.
Yeah. Like, they're taking all this money from the industry and then they're turning it around to try to figure out how can we get more people to participate in music education. A worse version of their philanthropy would be like, hey, everybody, welcome in Tim McGraw. He's going to this middle school and he's going to hand out like 10 signed guitars to this underfunded school,
Yes.
and we're going to catch a lot of video of him doing that and then use that in our, that's not what they're actually wanting to get down. And in fact, this research project kind of began because they were previously giving a lot of money and they weren't sure of the efficacy and the ROI of the money that they're giving. So then they wanted to actually examine what are some barriers to people participating. So it's a data approach. It's a quant data approach. But then we're also going around and we're interviewing so far 15 people who are like thought leaders in their field that's like adjacent to music or arts education. So like a friend of mine who's a DJ instructor in Syracuse, we're interviewing her. Somebody else is the chief program officer for VH1 Save the Music. Somebody else is a social worker that uses hip hop with youth and a positive youth development framework. Anyway, so we're talking to all these people, and they're not music educators. They're social workers and other people. But what are you noticing about barriers to people participating in music, and then how have you overcome those barriers? Not just you personally, but then within your field, what are some like strategies that have been attempted in order to like sidestep some of the thorniness of large institutions?
And so CMA's goal from this, that it's to design interventions. I mean, it's ultimately to step in and
it's to inform something. I don't know if they/we have thought that far, but so much of the research about this is just like case studies.
Yeah.
It's like, here's this cool person who's doing this cool thing here. It's like, that's great, but that's just like one person who just like had an idea and the extra bandwidth to hustle.
Yeah.
What is it like to come up with something that's like a little bit more systematic? So what we're attempting to have these semi-structured interviews interact with the quanta data from these districts to kind of figure out what people are noticing about expanding access. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. So after these interviews, the next step, we just did the interviews, and then I had some really wonderful grad students do all the coding. And my gosh, coding semi-structured interviews. We're talking about 15 people that care deeply about this topic.
Yeah.
The interviews are about an hour. So a lot of codes emerged.
So for the audience that's not familiar with coding, do you want to introduce that concept? Because
Sure.
you have to break down a interview into something quantifiable. Right?
Yeah, kind of quantifiable. That's kind of like an epistemological thorny issue. Some people do coding in order to quantify. So like, this person mentioned negative valence, emotional valence words 27% of the time. That must mean that they're, so you can actually do some sort of positivistic minded thinking about like qualitative research. Kind of qualitative research I do, Corbin and Strauss is the sort of the grounded theory background that I'm coming from. Also Joey Saldana, if anybody wants to look up their APA citations as you watch me.
Exactly.
Guys, I am
on this, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I am out of ammo. There's that juicy pistol that I think we're going to pick up. Oh, that's right. You can actually have a sidearm here in this game. Not that it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what I do, but in this case my grad student did, is you have your first experience with the data, which is the interview itself. And this grad student attended all of these interviews, which I did on Riverside, which is kind of a cool thing. It's like Zoom, but captures, HD stuff. Oprah and Michelle Obama use it for their podcasts.
Name drops.
That's right. Yeah. They weren't part of the team. I'm just saying that they also use software that I use. For that matter, they probably use Microsoft Word. So what was I talking about? Right. So then
the coding, yeah.
Yeah. So then you got to go through, and that's your first interaction, is just listening to the data. And then you have to do a whole pass through the data where you try to, somebody says a word like students are able to participate. It's like, okay, that phrase, that like 10-word sentence or whatever, has something to do with access. So generally what the person is talking about here is access. So you go through and you try to tag these codes, these nodes. And then what you do is you look through all of them. And I think there was something like 500 codes emerged in this first round of coding.
Yeah.
You then go through, preferably with a research partner who's sort of, oh gosh, bad reload, who helps you with like validity. You then try to move those original codes to what are called axial or thematic codes. So you try to pair them with others to create some like macro themes. You create some parent-child or sibling relationships. You come up with a tree between all the codes. And all of this is you trying to move towards a higher level of abstraction about the concepts that are discussed in the interviews.
Yeah, I've never had to do coding before, but I'm familiar with it. One, from my wife, and two, I read a lot of like chemical education literature and like, meta reviews and analysis and stuff. And I love the fact, like especially meta reviews, they have to do coding of what the paper was, what the variables are, so on and so forth. And I really appreciate they'll have like 3 independent people do the coding, and then you have to do statistical. How valid are these categories? And
yeah, so
it's hardcore.
It is hardcore, but I just want to point out for those that are interested in this, this is an epistemological difference. Mm-hmm. In that example of coding, you are still trying to quantify something.
Yeah.
A lot of coding, particularly from the grounded theory school of thought, you're not trying to do that.
Yeah.
In some cases, people are using qualitative coding, grounded theory, in order to do something that's generalizable. And you achieve generalizability through other validity by having other people look over how you coded something. Be like, oh, when this person said this sentence, they did mean accessibility. And when you moved accessibility into this larger axial code, like that made sense to me. So like you're getting at validity that way, but not through some sort of numerical sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you know, there's a lot of thinking to be done about, you know, science and in the boundaries of science. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about this. And I don't necessarily want to get into like a quant versus qualitative battle of, you know, epistemology and truth. But
no, it's fair. It's the lines are blurry and it's really hard.
Yeah. Oh, yo, check this out.
Oh, you're gonna pummel him?
Oh, okay.
You earned that kill.
Yes. That's great. I might die in the process, but
totally worth it.
Yeah, so a lot of people from a more sciencey background have a problem with that type of that type of analysis because they think it's too squishy to the individual. And I think that's totally true. Like there's a lot of squishiness there. I will also say that having had a lot of experience with parametric statistics within like an educational psychology framework, there's a lot of ways you can just like ignore the way that you wrote that survey to get a certain kind of answer anyway.
Yeah.
So there's squishiness in all of this. And at least what I like about well-written grounded theory is that the squishiness is up front. You know, if you are being true to the idea of actually trying to discover something and communicate something real, you're disclosing that like, hey, the Country Music Association gave me this money to do this research. This data that I'm getting from Dallas is because I have this relationship to Dallas. You know, so there's all those ethical disclosures that you make to invite your reader into interrogating whether or not what you're saying is legit.
Yeah, no, in terms of like probing my position on that, I mean, I love quantitative stuff because numbers are easy to like, you know, grasp onto, and you can say this number is bigger than this one. But I've had so much experience. I mean, this is my 87th Ask a Scientist gaming stream, and on that, I'd say 70% are what someone would describe as soft sciences, right?
Yeah.
Not the hard science, not physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, so on and so forth. And
Yes.
it's increased my appreciation for the softer sciences. One, because it's hard, right? People are hard. They have variables, they have personalities, they deliver information differently. But the other thing is as long as somebody in any scientific endeavor says, here's what I looked at, here's how I did it, here's what I think it means, as long as that is transparent and honest, no one can critique it, right? You just have to say, here's how I did things. And like they can critique your methodology, but ultimately they can reproduce what you do to hopefully to some degree, and know why you did what you did and make decisions according to that.
Right. Yeah, well said.
And so you guys presumably have like, well, for us, it's described as an experimental section, right? I used this glass, I put it together this way, I put it in a device that measured it this way, and you guys have to describe your methodology as well.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, and that's one thing about grounded theory is that there is a lot of describing what's happening. It's not loose in that way.
Yeah. And that's like, you can't argue with that. They did what they did, and here's the result.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how you interpret it, that's another debate, which is a fun fight, no doubt.
Okay, I finally got some ammo. I was mostly listening to what you're saying. I was also
focused. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Lori said, these things look like Hunger Game mutts. I like that.
Yeah. There's this other stuff that I do, but I think that might be coming to it late. Is this box open? It looks like it opens, doesn't it?
I don't know this. I never played this game. Halo was my go-to first-person shooter.
Did I put Vice City on the list?
You did.
Okay.
So we can do Vice City.
Well, just because I've got some funny stories to tell about that in music.
It has an excellent music selection in it.
Yeah, but this isn't even about the music on it. But yeah, music making that I was doing in Vice City.
Interesting. I did not know that was an option.
Yeah, I also want to talk about like some big data stuff. So like my research that I've like done I don't know what I've done most of them. I mean, I've done like parametric stats. I've done big data. I've done grounded theory interview coding kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I'm doing some of it well. You know, like some people some people got like their expertise.
You're publishing papers, they get cited, you get talks, right? Like, it's good enough.
Yeah. I'm at an R1.
Yeah,
I can't be doing that.
Yeah. Exactly. No, as far as the world's concerned, we've made it.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the pinnacle of long hours for low pay for an academic position.
Yeah, totally. Okay, there's my guy.
And you're playing video games on Ask a Scientist Gaming while talking about your expertise. I mean, I guess that is one of our questions we go to sometimes. It's like, what was your I made it moment? Your I made it moment either as a musician or as a director or as a academic. Or all three.
Can I start out with an I didn't make it moment?
Yes, those are fun.
So I was getting my PhD from FSU, and like the College of Music here, the music education program. Lori, feel free to chime in the chat here. Very well respected, august program. The College of Music is the third largest in the United States. At one point, something like a third of all of the research papers making out in peer-reviewed journals were people that got their PhDs from here. So It was just like dominant, right? But my background was teaching steel band. And the work that I did during my doc program was teaching a rock band at a homeless shelter. So, you know, like this, oh God, this field, maybe it's true for every subject, but it's certainly true for music education. It's about who you know and who you're connected to. Mm-hmm. The guy that was in charge of our department for, I don't know, how long was Cliff here? A very long time. I'm going to say 50 years. And I think that's probably accurate.
That sounds reasonable.
You know, he was just like such a lovely, dominant figure within a lot of people's lives. He did a lot of matchmaking for people in their jobs. Nobody was calling him saying, "Hey, Cliff, who's a weirdo that you have who does weirdo things? Because we got this job for weirdo stuff, and we'd love to know." No, they were always calling Florida State to say, you know, who would make a good band director, who would make a good like director of choral activities. So even though I like, you know, seemingly was chill with all my colleagues and you know could hold my own. Come on, ja. I'm wanting to get the head, you know. Oh, well. Okay, I'm just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, so I was unemployed, and my cohort was 100% employed besides myself, and the legacy of this doc program is such that like everybody gets a job.
You were the 1%.
I was the one who didn't. So, and paired this with like a lot of like personal life stuff that was going on in terms of like a pretty big breakup. Mm-hmm. And I pieced out and moved to Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
just like F it.
Yeah, I don't have a job in higher ed. I'm going to go make some oil money. So I did that, and I was that first year, 2011, 2012, that academic year, I applied for 30 plus jobs. I think I had one phone interview. The next year I applied for another 30 some. I had one more phone interview. And then that next year I was like, you know, I don't need this. I'm loving my life. It's like, it's a 4-day weekend, you know, time to go to Sri Lanka just for no reason. I'm making way too much money. I'm in my early 30s. Life is awesome.
Well, you were directing while you were there, or what was your position?
I was a K-12 teacher for 2
K-12.
years, and then my third year I worked at a college.
Wow. And you made good money in education.
Yeah, I mean not like insane money, but yeah, I mean I was I mean, listen, you're in the sciences, man. Y'all do all right, but like as a music teacher, I was making 5. Does this mean I have 5 guys left? Is that what that means? I kind of forget, y'all. I think it does. Yeah, if you look up there.
Nice.
Yeah, but I was making like 120K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is like
It's better than what we make here.
yeah, and it's all tax free, I should say. Anyway, so that was the I didn't make it moment.
Yeah.
But then I became like totally cool with what I was doing and just like, you know, living in Abu Dhabi, playing on their, you know, traveling with their ultimate frisbee team to Hong Kong for tournaments, and like life was awesome, right? But then I got an email from somebody I knew at Syracuse. They're like, "Hey, I know you applied for this job twice. We'd like for you to apply for it a third time." It's like,
Wow.
okay, fine.
So you were shortlisted those 2 years. You just weren't the go-to.
Yeah, I don't even know if I made the cut like to the phone interview stage. I think maybe I did once. I don't know. Anyways, they were desperate. So like it was like May, and they're like, "Oh gosh, we need somebody." So I applied and I got it. So I guess maybe that kind of felt like it. Like that felt like that I've arrived. Oh man, I was gonna chainsaw you, but then these guys showed up, ruined the fun.
I mean, so in retrospect, was it your scope of expertise was not broadly interesting enough, or what? Why do you think the?
Yeah, like my background was teaching steel band.
Yeah.
And I mean, so one way to answer this question is, what's the job descriptions that I'm applying for?
Yeah.
So like not just what's the degree, but what am I going to be teaching?
Yeah.
Like, so my background is teaching rock band at a homeless shelter, and teaching high school steel band. And I was, you know, like well respected within steel band. I like my bands were sounding good, and I ran this publishing company that like published a lot of really good sheet music. But there's not like a lot of collegiate jobs for steel band, and those that are there are like usually in percussion departments, not within music ed. It's like, what am I going to teach? They're going to hire me to teach what? Like methods for teaching at homeless shelters? Like, anyway, so, or I mean, now there's this field, and I didn't know it at the time when I started to do this, but now there's this field, subfield called community music, you know, which is again like music education in informal spaces would be one way of describing it. You know, and so now I sit on that journal, the Community Music Journal. I'm published in that journal a few times. And then now FSU College of Music is starting a new degree. If it gets through the various curriculum committees, it's already left our internal curriculum committee.
Oh, nice.
And it's going to be the first undergraduate degree in community music in the United States.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's some master's degrees, and there's an undergraduate degree in Canada, but this will be the first in the U.S. So, but it's funny because I remember my last year, my doc program, I'm like, hey, so I was doing this whole thing at the shelter, and it seems like a pretty big deal. Like there's a lot of guys that were in this band who, you know, said that they had experienced chronic homelessness for decades, and this is the first time that they finally feel like they have value and meaning in their life, and they've attributed their escaping homelessness to their participation in this ensemble.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this seems like a big deal. But I'm about to graduate, y'all, so you should probably get like an assistantship to keep this going. So I mean, this was a very, I don't know if smug's the right word, but naive letter that I wrote to the dean and the chair of my department as a lowly student, saying like, hey, you should consider, you know, changing the way that you structure your program to have an assistantship here. Says me, the person that has no experience, and you know, they probably gave me like a little pat on the head.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how would you read that letter now from an undergrad?
Well, I was a doc student, to be clear.
Doc,
Yeah,
okay.
But still, you know, like in terms of the way that these hierarchies often happen in higher ed, it's like, yeah, dude, you don't know what you're talking about.
You talk to your PI, then they talk.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a chain.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe I would hear that with some openness to
you
ideas.
could have more empathy because you went through it, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly have empathy, but would I actually listen to the idea as a possible idea that's a good idea? I don't know.
Yeah.
But in any case, I do know that now we actually just hired, oh gosh, we hired an endowed chair for community music. So whereas 15 years ago I was advocating for just having a lowly assistantship for somebody to keep this going, now we have an endowed chair.
Yeah.
So,
The paradigm shift.
Yeah, things have changed.
I mean, so speaking of that change, so I had this conversation with Julianne Grasso, and it was, I mean, she's an expert in video game music. Like, that's what her thesis is, Final Fantasy IV music. And we talked about...
Is that incredible? Like, can you imagine, like, what courage does it take for somebody?
Exactly.
Like, I've had so much luck and fortune and privilege in my life that I haven't had to think about that.
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of always trust that I'm going to land on my feet. But, like, I don't know, if you're in, like, theory musicology and you're writing about friggin' video games, I don't think it's guaranteed that you're going to get hired, you know? Like,
I mean, but it sounds like a similar battle you fought, right? It's like
Yeah.
finding this niche that's not necessarily traditional, and it was like, if you're not studying Bach, you're not doing music, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Right.
an old guard to new guard. I mean, it's clearly paradigms are shifting, right? And it's, I mean, much more flexible and loose definition, and maybe less stuffy in what restricted music is.
yeah. So, man, I got to keep on this martini's making me. Yeah. Yeah. Paradigms, I guess they are shifting.
I mean, you both got jobs, so
Yeah, I mean, so I was like, here's what I find interesting about our college. I was doing totally great at Syracuse. Like, I was there for a long time, just about to go up for tenure. And I turned that job in exactly what I wanted. So my job there was basically the same, but I had a few more preps because we had fewer professors, so everybody had to cover a lot of different things. Now I've got basically the same preps every semester. But because the content I teach is fluid, it's not going to feel stale. So that felt good, and I was able to carve out that little piece for myself at Syracuse because we were a small academic unit. Here at Florida State, we've got, I don't know how many students, 1,500 students in the College of Music. It's a well-regarded program within the institution. They don't have to innovate, or at least they don't have to innovate for a long time. If we accept that, various cultural and societal changes are going to affect all aspects of music, including my field, music education, we're going to be good for a while. Like, if enrollment matters and
sheer
outputs.
attrition.
Yeah, like, I mean, other places are just closing up shop. I mean, there's, it seems like every semester there's some well-regarded program that's just like shutting their doors. But for some reason, the leadership here has decided to innovate now. I think a part of that is a sort of entrepreneurial approach to higher education that involves philanthropy and development and grants. But I think the other part of it is just like, now's the time. Like, now we have the strength to innovate towards something more resilient. So let's go ahead and do that. So, like, we got a few things dabbling in AI. I'm doing some like machine learning, big data set research. This one class that I teach is a class that used to be like basic high school methods kinds of things, like how to teach non-ensemble classes at high school, so like music appreciation.
Yeah.
I now just like, my students show up and they start learning like the new Chappell Rowan tune just like by themselves, and I just I sit in the back and I every now and then frame what they're doing in terms of like learning theories, but it's not that same like, okay, this is exactly how you do the anacrusis while So it's interesting. It's like, how, if you have such a strong brand as X, how do you like X plus Y it? So I don't think the College of Music is trying to change its brand entirely. I think they're trying to broaden its brand.
I mean, it has the size to do that, which is nice, right? If you do an offshoot and it ends up being successful, start leaning that way.
Yeah.
I mean, they can still rest on their laurels, but they haven't decided not to exclusively do that. So that's cool.
Totally. Yeah. But I don't know if that entirely gets at, like, there was no guarantee for Julianne or myself or the many others who do. I mean, that's another way of looking at it. How many people are like super smart and great researchers, but their topic was to whatever, and they're currently not employed.
Yeah, no, like they're survivor bias here.
Yeah, exactly. Like there is orthodoxy to all of this, and this orthodoxy is certainly going to punish some people.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, me being on the other side of it, I've been here 11 years now. I've been on several hiring committees. I don't know how any of us get hired. It's just like luck and
Right,
timing.
man.
It's
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
you hope that you fall on the right desk at the right time.
Well, that's what it is. And it's like, I mean, part of it is like, oh gosh, I hope this kind of person is on the committee.
Yeah.
But other times it's like, I hope that this it's more in the writing of the job description, I think. It's like, and sometimes the job descriptions are kind of written by committee, but oftentimes they're written by like the one, person in admin who's really in charge of that hire. And it kind of is like, what jargon did they hear at the last like admin conference that they were at that they're going to sprinkle in here? Like, oh, the next big thing is this. So then it gets written in that way.
But it's still broadly defined, and you hope enough people see it. And it's like, I kind of fit that, so I'll apply. And
yeah, man, this job post at Florida State, like I remember exactly where I was. I got a text from a buddy of mine at like 6 a.m. This buddy of mine at Montclair State, he sends me this text at 6 a.m. He's like, hey, what's going on with this job post at Florida State? Because he knew that I graduated from there. And he sent it to me, like just a screenshot. And I read it, and it was like, we're looking for somebody that's got, strong research and teaching skills. They should have some combination of the following: popular music, technology, community music, and then teaching alternative ensembles, including steel band. It's like, wait a second, there's nobody.
That's me.
That's me. Like,
I am the only Venn diagram.
I'm the only person. And so then I did some sort of like back channel, like texts with people to be like, what's going on here? Were they planning on like just, tweet me,
They
y'all?
could have just called me.
Exactly. But no, they weren't. They those are all things that they're interested in, but they weren't like thinking about me
It's just
specifically.
coincidence. That's amazing.
Yeah. So then when I applied for it, I was like, I mean, and I'm sure, I don't know who else applied for this job. I'm sure there are great candidates that would have also done a great job in this position. But just in terms of the job description in my CV, there was not a single person in the world that met the job description as much as I did. But that was dependent upon somebody at some point being like, we need to add community music into this job description.
Yeah.
While we're at it, let's go ahead and name steel band specifically.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, like, you hope X person is on the committee, but what's ironic is you don't know if X person is going to be for or against you. Like, you can imagine how they'll feel.
Yeah.
But sometimes the people in the area are the most oppositional to a given topic, and others, it surprises you who's interested.
Man, what sort of dramas in chemistry? That's what I want to know. I know all about my field's drama. I want to know.
I mean, it's just so like in chemistry, you can loosely partition it into organic, inorganic, physical materials, analytical, and like you have these sub areas, and they have their own personalities and flavors. And it's like, well, we want to hire someone that's in this area, but we want to do this. And so for me, it was weird. I shouldn't have gotten hired because I'm a mutt. I don't fall in any one of those categories. I'm a inorganic, photochemical, whatever person. Mm-hmm. And so I got hired through a university-wide hiring initiative, actually.
Okay.
So I would not have been hired in traditional lines. If they were doing an inorganic search,
Dude, we're at hardcore horde difficulty. I just want to point that out.
All right, let's bump that down a bit.
Yeah, let's... Oh, okay. Yeah, normal. Let's just do normal.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Keep going.
But yeah, as a bit of a research mutt that doesn't fall in traditional categories, this broad search at FSU was energy and materials, and it was across chemistry, physics, computer science, engineering, and they're just like, if you work in this area, apply. We're going to sort it into different piles in different departments. We'll send it to the departments. Do you want to interview this person? Yes, and I got hired through that. I didn't get a lot of, and most of the interviews I got were through mechanisms like that, not the traditional disciplines. And so it's like, how do you hire people that are blurry between the lines? You're not necessarily organic. What are you going to teach? Organic or something else? And so that's kind of the battles we fight. And so as a department, about 10 years ago, we decided to dissolve those boundaries, at least formally at the departmental level. And we're going to hire much more topically, like, do you do health research? Do you do energy-related research? And so it's a very new guard versus old guard debate.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I got a phone call.
Not dramatic necessarily, but
yeah.
it's a battle.
I got a phone call from a friend of mine at Boston University. He's very preeminent in the field of popular music education. He runs a journal and, wonderful musician. So he's in a non-tenure track job because Boston, I guess, in this area has not done like tenure in their music education department. So he just saw a job posting today within the music school. Yes, y'all, that was so clean.
Nice.
Oh, God. Okay, spoke too soon. So the job description, or the job was a associate professor tenure track for popular music studies / musicology. So his PhD, he's British, so his PhD's in like sociology and music learning. So it's not exactly legible, but like all of his writing so far has been about like learning communities. So he works in the music ed department, and you know he's legible as a music ed person. This job comes up. It's a musicology job, but it's a popular music studies musicology job. But he's this like punk drummer. He writes books on punk music, and he was like, "Should I apply for it?" I was like, I like you should find out from other people whether or not you can contort your CV enough to look like it's like
Or
it's musicology.
Or just apply and let them sort it out.
Yeah,
Not your problem, right?
Exactly, right. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, does anybody go through school and they're just like a straight ahead whatever person? Like I'm organic.
We have a lot of the med school students are that way. They don't necessarily get into med school from day one. They're like, I'm going to be a doctor, and it filters out, and 1% of them might be successful in that route. So it's again survivor bias. Those one individuals, everyone else ends up taking weird convoluted paths. Speaking of paths, I teach music. That sounds like a good buddy from Montclair State.
Wait, who?
I teach music.
Oh, that is
or runs a journal.
that is my buddy from
That's awesome.
from Montclair State.
Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us.
When did I teach music? Sign on, Brian. I was just talking about you 15 minutes ago.
Co-runs a journal, so you might have
Co-runs a journal.
He's
Yeah.
going to correct you on that.
Sorry, dude. Yeah.
We are accurate on this stream. Thank you. I teach music.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Brian is here to haze me, which is great. You know, I wondered like this question of like diffusion within a discipline, like how diffuse. So my wife is an anthropologist and she's a cultural anthropologist, and where she works right now at University of Western Ontario, there's like stark divides both historically and presently about archaeologists in that physical sort of stuff, biologists and cultural anthropologists and linguists. Anyway, her department, apparently everybody just like likes each other, which is like unheard of. Mostly everybody's like arguing, about like, oh no, biological anthropology is terrible. And it would be interesting to look at like what sort of fields are like diffuse in terms of their approaches. How many people are there like you that are kind of between? Like, is it a field where most people are between and not narrowly describable?
Increasingly so in chemistry, that's true. What's interesting is physics is very factioned. So physics has like, there's condensed matter physics, which like semiconductor chips and stuff like that. You have astrophysics, who studies the stars, and then you have high energy particle physics that does like particle accelerators. And they are very different areas. So like they can be separate departments, but they fall under the umbrella of physics.
So is a part of this determined by just like certain areas of knowledge are just like hella specialized, and at some point you just need to be like particle physics, and there's no way to be a particle physicist and a materials scientist?
That's kind of what ends up happening, because for physics, I mean, you're covering all of the many motions of the universe, which includes really small stuff, which would be condensed matter physics or particle physics, and then the really big stuff. And the same math that describes planet formation doesn't describe quantum mechanics.
Ah, that's really interesting.
And so like you're working on very different abstract scales. And so rarely does somebody have that broad expertise. I mean, they could talk the language, they could sit in on committees.
Yeah, they took that intro course like everybody else did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You end up specializing. And in chemistry it happens too, right? Like, I'm not a synthetic organic chemist. I don't know named reactions or encyclopedic knowledge of how to make things. But I can sit through a seminar and say, well, that kind of makes sense.
What do you think about that guy on Instagram, the red hot ball experiment guy? Is he cool?
I do not know who that is.
This guy just takes a big metal ball, heats it up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, and puts it on top of whatever he wants. And sees what happens. So he puts it on like a jar of hair gel.
Yeah,
It'll
just
go
to
through and you
watch.
see the hair gel bubble up.
I've seen the videos. I didn't know that was like his dedicated shtick. That's pretty.
That's his shtick, man.
'cause I like,
but like, how many friggin' clicks is that guy getting? I mean, you think you're doing all right with your Twitch stream? Imagine a guy that all he does is he heats up a ball.
I mean, when they had the hydraulic press channel,
The hydraulic, it's the same category as it's like, we got this hydraulic press. Let's just film content about.
Yep.
So what's the version of that in our field? Like, how can I just like?
I mean, I think mine is heating up a ball and dropping it through stuff.
Okay, darn it, that's already taken.
Yeah, exactly. I need to be more creative.
Yeah, man.
Dump acid, liquid nitrogen smashing. I don't know.
Because if clicks matter, and I think they do, not to say that they should, but I think they do matter. Like, that person's just killing it.
Yeah, no, I respect that. Like, you found a niche. You are the world's best at it. I respect that.
Yeah. So let me briefly take over the questioning and
right,
talk to you
let's do
about
it.
your stream. Again, let's not get too caught up in like, do clicks matter? Does audience engagement matter? Whatever. But there is a sort of a lovely mission that you have for what you're doing here, which is just, community-based, community-engaged scholarship.
Yeah.
And, you can probably talk about it other ways, too. It's about, like, forming a community within the university, but it's also about forming community between academia and people not in academia, right?
I mean, I'd argue you're giving me far more nobility than I do.
So, okay.
Like, I like video games. I like talking science, and this, like,
Let's put it together.
everything, right? It's a little broader than that, but sorry, go with your question.
So here's where I'm going with this. So when I got hired at FSU, I decided from the jump, like, I'm only going to make this job how I want it to be, and I'm not gonna like pay attention to any other ideas of like normal or good, or like, I'm gonna do research that I think is important and cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach classes that I think are important and cool. But one of the things that I decided was I'm gonna set up my office like a content creator studio.
Yeah.
Because for one, that seems like. And I was doing a little bit of this at Syracuse, but really not very much, like some YouTube videos here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But then if we think about, like this pyramid of dissemination with like peer-reviewed journals, then like in music education, it would be like practitioner journals, like for music teachers. And then you have like public dissemination, namely Instagram, TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
Historically, that would have been like, interviews with the news media.
Or blog posts. back in
Blog
the day.
posts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Man, remember that 10 years ago?
I do. That's where I started.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So I convinced my dean to just like give me a few $1,000 to like get some cameras and lights and stuff. So my office is set up. I've got like a fake green grass wall in the background with brick. Yeah, it looks really nice. And I've got like, tons of documents planning out like content to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got kind of everything in place, and I've got various ways that I'm going to start to okay, so I teach a graduate seminar on critical theory. So we take like prominent texts within music education philosophy and analyze them with a critical theory lens. But rather than like have doc students write these dense philosophical papers that like they don't want to write, I don't want to read, what if instead I get the primary source, the authors of these texts, to join my doc students on an interview.
That's fun.
Live on YouTube. And then also have my doc students edit these down to like 6-minute videos for Instagram also. So I'm just gonna have my doc students make content for me. If I make
crowdsource it, I like it.
Exactly.
I like it.
So I'm doing that, and then I had some other ideas to do some interviews with people myself, like people that are movers and shakers within the field, because I kind of know people. In part thanks to you, I teach music. If you're still on the on the stream, and then also because the provenance of Florida State College of Music, it's kind of like it's a known name, right?
Yeah.
So I can probably get people on the horn and interview them, especially with my nice looking office, and I brand it in a certain way.
Yeah.
But then I got that invite from you last week, and I started to look at what you're doing more. Brian says I gave Gareth too much credit. Yeah, sorry, bud. Yeah, you deserve the love more than Gareth, Brian. Right, then I realized, like, no, this dude is really onto something. This is a way better idea, because here's what you're doing. Not that you... So I want to ask you a question about metrics in a moment.
Yeah.
And like tenure and promotion, but first I want to like just ask about what do I want to ask. I want to ask your permission to totally steal your idea.
By all means.
And change it a little bit. So I've got these awesome turntables in my office.
Yeah.
And again, my office is dope. Like
Yeah.
you've got a cool office here. But I'm sorry, my office is cooler. I got better cameras. I got better lights.
I believe it.
The decor is cool. What if I got people starting in the College of Music, and I'll do a similar intake to what you do, where you ask them questions about the games that they play, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask them questions about music that they listen to, and I'm going to find their music ahead of time. They're going to come to my office. I'm going to talk to them about their background, their musical interests. They'll tell me some story about being in middle school with the middle school dance and this one song.
Yeah.
You know, and then like, and that's why they chose this one New Kids on the Block song. And then I'm going to teach them how to DJ with the songs they chose.
That's fun.
I think that would be super, super cool, right?
Yeah.
So
like
similar
that.
to what you're doing, you're engaged. Like, what do you care? Like, what are you trying to get out of people here? You're trying to get something about their practice, the career part. I need to think about what I want to get. I want to get something out of people about their love of music and their relationship to music.
Man, one of the advantages you have is the universality of music, right? Like everyone has a song, everyone has a song history, and like video games, it's hit or miss on the number of people I know, right? If you're under 40, sure, but if you're over 40, you know, I get turned down about, I don't know, 60% of the time. But
why can't people be like, oh yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. I can't wait to get on there and just like die.
Well, I mean, but that's
like that would be
that's
fun.
intimidating, right? Like just to get destroyed and look amateur, which was, I mean, goes back to your original question. Why do I do this? Well, one thing is I like breaking the ivory tower. And so before I started doing this, the first thing I did was ask a scientist in person. And so you're familiar with First Friday.
Yeah.
And so my first year here, one of my colleagues said, go to First Friday. And I'm like, whoa.
Guys, I can't lose this round. I'm one guy away.
Oh, man. You were
One kill away. Sorry, everybody. Sorry for redlining there.
normal mode, though. Work better.
Okay. Yeah.
You got this. You have to beat around before we move to the next. It's 9:17 already. So
Okay. Didn't I beat one wave?
did you? I don't know.
I think I did. I beat one wave. We can move. Let's move on. I'm done with
What do you
yours.
wanna
we
go to?
can finish your question though.
Okay, so when I
I'll
first
play
got
in
here,
what you-
I learned about the First Friday event, and it was like, oh, it looks like anyone can set up a tent. So I literally called them, well, my wife did, and said, can you set up a tent? And they said yes, and I was like, okay. I'm going to set up a tent, put a sign that says Ask a Scientist, and I'm going to have like me and 5 of my colleagues show up, stand by the tent, drink beer, and talk to people.
Yeah. So alcohol consumption is a
It's
pretty important part of this.
I
whole
mean,
equation.
when you think about like my discipline or physics or math, we're mostly mildly autistic introverts, right? Like the alcohol helps me do this, right?
Yeah, right on, man, yeah.
It's part of the socialization aspect. But the other thing was I didn't want this to be like a panel. I didn't want this people standing in lab coats. It's just like people shooting the shit and casually talking
and
about
not being pretentious and
exactly the humanizing aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so I did that for 6 years every month and ran that in person. And then COVID hit. And at some point,
So the genesis was COVID, because
Well,
this is such a brilliant idea.
it was partially COVID. It was actually, I started learning about Twitch through like Mario Maker. I don't know if you're familiar with that, where people make Mario levels and play really hard levels. I started
really?
playing that first and I watched it on Twitch. And the thing I noticed that was profound to me is it's not the best gamers that get the views, it's the most interesting people.
Totally, man.
And I'm like, we're interesting people, right? We got interesting things to say. I don't know how many people want to listen, but sure, I love talking to my colleagues. And so I started the transition and built it up before COVID hit. And so I started buying the streaming setup and everything. And it worked out really nice because COVID hit, in-person Ask a Scientist was done, and I started teaching classes with this setup, right, during that COVID window.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
And so that worked out really nice. But the reason I like this video game and drinking is like, there's nothing more humanizing than sucking at video games while talking about science, right? And so it's such a casual environment. It's like, it was, you know, you look at things like Hot Ones on YouTube, right? You're taking people out of their comfort zone to get them to talk on honest and sincere ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like this most. And I also like learning stuff. I like video games. And I like drinking. So, yeah, in terms of agenda, I don't think I have anything specific. And honestly, if I enjoy hanging out during the night and nobody shows up to the stream, I will consider it a success. 'Cause
Yeah, right on. Yeah.
it's just fun.
So okay, so then let me ask some questions about like tenure and promotion and metrics. I so I've never been a content creator, so I don't really know exactly. I know enough about video production and social media to know that like that must be a crap ton of work, right? Like, dear Lord, people that do this for a living, like,
Oh my God, so
it
much
sounds
content.
exhausting, right? So,
Yeah, cutting videos, editing.
Oh my
prepping
gosh.
for this stuff, having
Yeah.
a plan, having new content ideas.
right, like, I mean, just like the amount of time it would take me to make an Instagram post to promote
Yeah.
the content that's about to release.
Yep.
Anyway, so I mean, part of this is just like me understanding the affordances within these various platforms, which is like kind of an age thing, and me, no longer being the youngest person on the block. So that's one thing. The other thing is just like the physical setup, and so I've set up my office to be the fewest buttons to be pressed in order to get something done.
Yeah.
Because if it takes a while, you're just not going to do it. It's like, because my job is teaching, research, and service, and there's not that fourth column of content creation. So then how do I
would argue this falls under the service umbrella.
Okay,
At
so
least for me it does. Yeah.
okay, but even service, nobody cares about service.
Nope.
So sure, it falls under service, but you probably spend more hours on this a week than you do some of the. I mean, I don't want you to disclose how many hours you spend
Yeah.
grading, but you might spend more time going live on Twitch than you do grade.
That's 100% true. My tests are multiple choice. So.
Okay, right on. Yeah. So then how do I make this sustainable for me? Because I do actually think that, so here's the thing about music. It's, for one, we need to, let people access higher education in the ivory tower in better, different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've never done a good job of that. We don't really care about that. Maybe there's certain kind of pretension around that. But then if you think about like music as a field, it's like, how are people consuming music now? It's through content.
Yeah.
Like, especially with me within music education.
A majority of it is probably through TikTok at this point.
Exactly.
Right?
So my
hours listened. Yeah.
So now I'm training people to become music teachers, to like get up there and wave their arms in front of students that are consuming most of their music through content. So we need to engage with content also just as like an artifact to be examined.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wanting to make some moves in that area. I mean, listen, y'all, for the however many people are on the stream right now, you can go to my handle, my @ Dr. Disco Knapp on all the various, and you'll
Check
see
out
what
the About tab. It's right under there.
Okay, right on. Like, I mean, you'll see what I got going on. It's like every now and then I'll find like the spare half hour that it takes to put together like a minute-long Instagram reel.
Yeah. It's a lot of time and effort, though, and you're right. There's you do have to do a cost-benefit analysis. For me, this does not help me with tenure in any way, right? Like, it's a side project. I still have to bring in, 2 federal grants plus publish, 3 to 5 papers a year, so on and so forth. And like, honestly, a lot of my colleagues don't even understand what this is. The one way I'll say this did pay off really, really well is, so we have, graduate recruiting for our graduate program, right?
But why does it, I guess that's just service?
Yeah, that would fall under the service umbrella. But for us, so November 13th, we're going to do a live Q&A for graduate admission. So I'm chair of the graduate admissions in the chemistry department. We will email PUIs all over the country and say, come by Twitch, we'll drink, play video games, and ask questions about, graduate school experience. And we've had, half a dozen students name that in their application. Like, I saw this on Twitch, got interested.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah,
and like,
that's the return on it. Yeah.
y'all, I'm about to beat this friggin' wave. Boom.
Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. We got some GGs. Well done. Well fought battle. You earned
Thanks. God, that was embarrassing.
it worked out. You were playing on what was the difficulty mode? You were hardcore there,
Come on.
because there's only insane beyond that. Like,
Yeah, so I beat this game solo on hardcore. I remember that.
wow,
But that was a long time
that's a
ago.
grind, though.
Yeah.
All right,
That's a weird thing. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that academia should be different. I mean, obviously we should be teaching and doing research.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so, like, rather than think about it as being a separate stream, I'm trying to diffuse it within my streams,
Yeah.
right? So like my teaching, my graduate seminar, the outputs that they're doing is going to be content for me.
I mean, but presumably you could write a paper on this content generation, like
Right,
the
yeah.
pedagogical aspects of it.
Yeah,
Like that becomes academic then. Right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot write a paper on this in a chemistry journal.
But what about a chemistry education journal? Or what about like a higher ed journal? Maybe that would be better.
Potentially. I mean, there's nothing. Oh yeah, we should change games if we're going. What do you want to go with next?
Let's see, what was on the list? I think I had.
We have Grand Theft Auto. We have a bunch of Nintendo games.
Okay, so Grand Theft Auto, I got some stories about some silly music making that I was up to at some point.
Okay.
And then the various Nintendo games will just be stories about my childhood. So
What do you want to do? It's up to you.
let's go for Grand Theft, because then I think that kind of connects to some things.
I'll resize you here a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, let me give you a question while I shift some stuff around. Man. One of our classics we like to go to, and this is my personal favorite because I'm all about watching movies. I've been a cord cutter for like 15 years. What movie or TV show gets your discipline right and what gets it wrong? This could be music education. This could be performance. This could be tangentially related. But which ones are you thrown at? Which ones are you like,
So-
they consulted somebody?
Yeah, thank you. I think about this a lot. I have terrible memory of names of things. This is going to be a terrible conversation.
Well, we'll see if I can figure it out. I just crossed 6,000 movies on Letterboxd. So.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Yeah.
So I want to make a pitch to a graduate course for anybody out there who's in music education. You know, Brian, perhaps you're still on the stream. I think there should be a course that is, something like a music ed philosophy course through movies about music ed. I think that would be really interesting. Anyway, you might have to broaden that out to be more about education, not just music ed, because I'm not sure how many films there are about music ed.
I'll give you one. Mr. Holland's Opus.
Yeah, Mr. Holland's Opus. First of all, he holds the baton in his left hand. I'm not
Completely took you out of it.
Well, it did a little bit. Not that I've conducted maybe 2 pieces of music in my life with a baton. It's not something that I do. It's not my version of music ed. Yeah, but that was weird. It's like, oh, I guess they didn't consult anybody. I mean, plenty of people hold a baton in their left hand, but it's like if you're going to choose a hand to put a baton in, it would not be your left hand. Yeah, but the movie that I think about a lot is, what was that Michelle Pfeiffer?
Dangerous Minds.
Was it Dangerous Minds?
Yeah, the Coolio song, Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
right.
the one.
I think about that one a lot in terms of just like, yeah, the late 90s, early 2000s were so righteous in terms of like going to the hood and fixing kids through education.
Yes, no, the white savior complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Oh man, I got some stories to tell y'all. Martini's coming through. Time to talk about GTA Vice City.
Man, let me get this up. I got to bring it. All right. There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo.
Playing some Vice City. So this was the 1980s one, the flashback game. It came out in 2000 whatever, but it's like 80s stylized. Is that right?
Oh, I think I may have told you the wrong game. This is totally fine. I've played Vice City. I think I'm thinking more GTA 4.
Oh, okay.
Is GTA 4 and GTA Vice City different? I thought it was GTA 4 Vice City.
I do not know. So this is Vice City.
Cool. I think you're right. Vice City makes more sense for it to be in Miami. I'm looking here at the screen. This is Miami stuff. The game that I'm going to be talking about in my stories is going to be GTA 4, which is not Vice City. But, you know, the gameplay between those two games is the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the scenery. Yeah.
Some of the missions.
Should I be pressing A right now? Start? Okay.
Let me see. I might have to configure that controller.
Dude, like my office setup
again.
when I'm thinking about like the mics and the videos and the lights.
I do have
making
Grand
sure-
Theft Auto 3 too, if you want to try that one instead.
No, that's fine, man. We can do Vice City. So that's one thing that I think about in terms of my physical setup, all the gear that I have. You have that and like how it all connects to OBS. You've got all that, but then you also have all these freaking consoles and
Mods,
emulators.
yeah.
That's a whole other level. So like, kudos on you for getting all these real and virtual wires.
Yeah,
routed.
the emulators. In retrospect, I should have had this controller configured, but I did not.
Well, I'll go ahead and pre-launch some of the conversation I'm going to have about this. All right, so The year is 2009. I had just started my doc program at FSU and had this roommate. His name was David Benelli. Nice guy, a little bit rudderless, I guess, but who cares? He'd come home from work every day and he would just like sit on the couch and play GTA. So I'm out there, all like, oh, I got to read my articles for, the seminar tomorrow. I got to make sure that I'm the sharpest, pencil. And he's just out there playing GTA. And as those we'll find out in a minute, GTA is a game where you just go around and like murder police officers and get rocket launchers. And that was it.
That sounds right.
So one day I was listening to him play, and the guy, so there's this one mode in GTA 4 or Vice City, who knows, we'll find out, where it's like you just join a room. I think it's called free mode. And so you have 16 people in a room, and they're all going around trying to murder each other and get weapons and cars and run each other over. But you can hear all 16 people in the room all the time. And there's this one guy that I guess just had, he's got like his Xbox controller, and then you've got the headset, the wired headset with the mic, and he had his background music on too loud. It's just broadcasting what he's playing just in his living room. And I should also say GTA is a game that's filled with only 13-year-olds and 30-year-old stoners. Like, those are the only two categories. There's nothing in between. That's it. So anyway, I'm listening to this go on, this like melee happening in the background with just some like terribly like crunched audio happening. And I was like, this is interesting, but what if we got rid of like the air gap between the signal emanating from the speaker and the signal that's being transmitted through the internet? So I like quit what I was doing, and I asked him if I could butcher his headset, and I soldered an 1/8-inch jack to his Xbox headset. And I was like,
That's awesome.
cool, I just like, let's DJ this. Like, you're in this space. There's these 15 other humans that are here to murder police officers and drive around in a car. And now we can just force them to listen to whatever. And so then once we got in that, like, but at this point, this idea was like, it's an example of like, you've got like a kernel of an idea, but you don't realize how large this idea is until later.
Yeah.
And I realized like, dude, I just sonically connected the internet to itself. So there's all these people on GTA. I can now play anything on the internet. So like, I'm going through, I'm like YouTube DJing basically.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait a second. No. So then I opened up the software called Ableton and I put together like, again, this is a profanity is okay on the stream.
Fine.
Okay.
Perfectly acceptable.
You all might be familiar with the tune, my neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. That was popular at the time. So I went into Ableton and I programmed that backing track, the instrumentals. And then I went into, again, this is 2009, so technology was what it was. I then would go and like find the lyrics to the song, Control A, text to speech. And so then I would have like the 2009 version of Siri basically sing the song on top of and just broadcast that to the 15 people that were, man. And then I was like, wait a second. I'm sorry, am I brilliant? Is this the most amazing musical idea that any human has ever come up with? So then I'd have these parties. This only happened like twice. And it should have happened more. I should have thought about it more. But I have these parties where I would like have, because Ableton, you can do all sorts of inputs. I'd have like a MIDI drum set, and then somebody else would be playing guitar, and then somebody else would be like doing beats. And I would just like have this like jazz electro fusion live set happening in GTA. So these 13-year-old stoners, 13-year-olds and 30-year-old stoners would log into GTA just wanting to like run over people in their cars, and they're like forced to reckon with this live, fairly sophisticated jazz trio that is performing for them. Oh, but the funny thing in terms of gameplay is it would cut off the audio if you killed the person. So you'd have to go around the city and find the person.
Yeah.
So what they would do is they would, like my roommate David would just like steal the helicopter and fly the helicopter just to like, to where like you can't go up any higher. and nobody could get to us. So like you couldn't go and kill the person. So then like we'd be DJing while he's flying the helicopter. Anyway,
That's awesome. All right, so you're starting from scratch in this.
yeah. Okay. Okay, what you can crouch. Oh, here's another idea that I had. Am I advancing in here? Did I press the right buttons?
I have no idea. This was not my
Okay,
game
so it
choice.
looks like we are.
Yeah, so you'll take control soon, presumably.
So again, I think this is more of a GTA 4 thing than Vice City. But you've got a few different motions you can do. You can do a knife attack is a motion that you can do. Okay, press the, yep, okay, got you, right. Oh, yeah, I still got it, baby.
There you go. All right, let me know if it's too loud, anyone in chat. Yeah, we're adjusting for games as we go.
So you
How's
can
it feel? It's back?
Oh, it feels, yeah, man, like I never left it. Oh, okay, and maybe ask that question. But I feel like the triggers do, okay, yes.
Sorry, we detoured from the question. So we had Mr. Holland's Opus left-handed.
Okay,
Is that a purist thing? You have to do baton and right hand?
No, you don't have to, like, I don't know, man, I'm not a stick person, so I don't really, that's not like my version of music ed.
Yeah.
It's funny how you remember like what the break is. Like, how did I remember that the square is the break?
It's just written in your
Yeah, and
instincts
then you got the Dangerous Minds.
Yeah, the intervention and White Savior.
Yeah.
One of that was Spirit Riders or whatever it
Oh,
was.
Spirit Riders,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, murder some people, great.
And I saw an awesome YouTube video critiquing this, and it's like they always make a movie about the white person that does that when people have been doing this in the Black and Latina communities for a long time, but they're never central to music and music education.
Yeah.
Or whatever education. Oh, I Teach Music has a good one. School of Rock. Jack Black.
Hey, Brian, I don't know how to tell this to you, Brian, because I think you're going to lose all respect for me. I have never seen that movie.
Oh no. I Teach Music. Does he need to see that?
Are you going to read- are you
No,
gonna-
what would be yours? Is that acceptable or is that abomination? I mean, from an education standpoint and ethics, whatnot, yeah, absolute abomination. But in terms of getting kids involved in music, acceptable, maybe. School of Rock. What else? Is there anything?
Man, so I don't...
Poet Society.
Okay, Dead Poet Society, that's so good. Okay, one movie that I think about a lot when I think about teachers is, have y'all seen the movie Election?
Yes. Matthew Broderick. and
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
It's such a great movie. But I think about it a lot in terms of like people that have lost their way.
Yeah.
Like what was going on in Matthew Broderick's life? Well, actually, we know what's going on in Matthew Broderick's life. That comes
the
up.
monotony, right? He just lost his mind for...
Yeah, I think that probably has a lot to do with it. Is just like he lost his purpose in life, and you can be going out there doing your thing, whether it's your job or whatever, and then it's like somehow 10 years passed and you realize like, oh, I've been lying to myself about being happy, and I actually don't like this at all, and I don't really know what the point of this coming of me saying this is, except like I did have a moment of advising this last week where a student it was clear to me that they had realized that they had sold themselves. What's the a bin of goods? No, not a bin of goods. They had sold themselves a story that was not accurate to what they actually desired professionally out of their life, and they told themselves that X, Y, or Z would make them fulfilled.
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick was saying like, "Oh, here I am, education," blah, blah, blah. And then he realized like, no, he actually does not give a crap about any of this. And
Yeah.
and I guess he felt good because he was able to pat himself on the back all that time.
But he like played a character that was not him, and he fulfilled that goal. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's unsatisfied. But that person jumping from... I love
Yeah,
Brad.
which is, I know I made that gesture a moment ago about education. I mean, obviously education is like near and dear to my heart, etc. But there's good reasons, and then there's real reasons why people do stuff. And oftentimes they overlap, but sometimes they straight up don't, and we shouldn't lie to ourselves about that. And I think also importantly, we can ebb and flow in and out of that in our careers, and we need to give ourselves permission to let that relationship with our profession ebb and flow.
I mean, so going back to the discussion about research, teaching, and service, like, I don't know what it is in your department, but for mine, you have to teach good enough. right? Like as long as you don't have something on your file.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah,
Are you allowed to be honest about that?
I just got my votes for full professor,
Okay.
so I got nothing.
Oh, look at you, man!
Yeah, that was
you got
last
full
week.
professor off of a friggin' Twitch stream. Look at you.
Exactly. But yeah, it's one of those, like, as long as you're good enough and don't raise any red flags, that's it. You don't have to innovate. You don't have to be particularly good.
Oh gosh,
just
guys,
good
I got to
enough.
get out. It's about to blow. Also, I need to. Oh gosh, I need to kill somebody and take their weapons.
Sounds about right.
Okay, right. So you're. Oh, should I take this police car? I forget how it happens. About. Oh no, come. Gosh darn
Is the
it.
direction weird?
I don't know what's going. I think I just forget my.
I mean, we can see if the controller is configured right. So you're having troubles going up? Let's
I am
take
actually.
a look at this. Let me see.
I can go down. I can't go up.
All right, so press joystick up. All right, press joystick down. And left. And then right. We have left stick.
Man,
Stick up,
the
stick
ability to improvise on a stream as
down.
it's going on.
press down again. All right, let's try that.
That's incredible. You
Yeah, this has been
dude. You fixed
a
it.
lot of homework.
No, this is awesome. Of course, you're full professor.
It was part of my letter. No,
Was it really?
no, no. The Twitch now. Well,
But it's ridiculous
I
that it
think,
wasn't.
like-
You know, this would be my this would be the first paragraph of my letter. Honestly,
well, so like when they write, letters from external people, or they write my letter from the chair, it's something like he has outstanding outreach endeavors, including list of things, Twitch plus his, YouTube channel plus whatnot. So it makes the list, but it's not highlighted by any means. Oleander Corvide. I like the Hawaiian shirt. So shout out to the Hawaiian-esque shirt.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you for joining the stream. First time chat. If you're not following, click the follow button. It helps our numbers go up. As we talked about earlier. That's why World of Warcraft was so successful. Just like incentivize and
Dude, have you seen
numbers go up.
Have you seen that? It's been coming across. It comes across every few months on my Instagram. It's sort of an animated bar graph of the most popular games, the top 10 games by year.
Oh man.
Have you seen that?
Well, I've seen something similar on Reddit. Yeah.
It's incredible. And just like World of Warcraft, there's some interesting things. I'm not really so much of a gamer.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess enough to know what World of Warcraft is. It dominates for so long.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's
a decade. It's crazy.
Yeah, and previously the number one game was whatever, probably The Sims or something, right? It's they have regularly 2 million active users. It's wow, that's huge. And then WoW comes out and it's orders of magnitude greater than what the previous number one game was, and it just persists for so long. I noticed, have you seen these ads for WoW that just came out?
Yeah.
I just saw it on
expansion or whatever it
It's
is.
a new expansion, but the way that they're clearly going after whatever our generation is. I guess the Gen X, Gen X / millennials.
Yeah.
that they're
Zennials.
They're oh yeah, come back to it. And the people that are in the ad are all people that are mid-career professionals.
Exactly.
Who are, and I think even one of the scenes is a guy comes home from work and he tucks his kid into bed and then he logs into WoW.
It's their audience.
It's oh my God, are you watching me? How do you know this?
Yeah, you're in my head.
Yeah.
No, I respect that. They know who their demographic was.
Yeah.
And then Minecraft took over, and that was the rest. Yeah.
Yeah, Minecraft. Yeah, man, that graphic is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's interesting to see our...
I'm gonna punch somebody. I kind of forget how to do it. There we go. Come on, fight me. Come on,
Yeah,
fight
you
me.
only got 2 stars. You got to earn those.
No, man.
What's more violent, Gears or this?
I mean, obviously this, right? I think, you can get all sorts of things in this, rocket launchers, tanks. So, I guess violence, if violence is, the amount of pain you can put on some other virtual character, I guess that, yeah, this.
Oh man, Lori, if you're still around, sorry I missed some of your chats because I had to refresh the browser because it wasn't streaming for some reason. So yeah, we've been fighting a little bit of battles, but Lori had going back to FSU Music, right? But that's the reason 412 that FSU Music is so amazing. They want the diversity that you and your interests bring. Madsen made sure we all knew that our experiences are leading us to where we ought to be.
Yeah,
That's an awesome leadership.
yeah,
right
that is
there.
great. And like to think that Lori has that perspective as somebody who went through the program, and now she's got this whole other job and career, and she was still touched by her experiences in the program and her experience with Cliff. I think speaks magnitudes.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the goal, right? I mean, especially mentoring grad students, it's not just successful PhDs, but having you develop as a person. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, we want good people that are smart and thoughtful and considerate of others and work together and yeah,
Yeah, for
general
sure.
life skills. So hopefully they get that in chemistry. Maybe not so much. Dr. Knapp, it sounds like you're interested in something similar to that the history department was after their World War II Institute and the human experience. Their institute focuses on the human experience just as much as the event itself. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
The World War II Institute and the human experience.
So is this the World War Institute at Florida State?
I'm assuming it's the history department here. Laura, if you have a follow-up on that, let me look up the human experience, see if that gives us anything.
Maybe we should know more about our own institution to know that
Yep.
World War II Institute exists.
The Institute on World War II and the Human Experience. That's at Florida State University.
Yeah, right
There
on.
is a website right there.
Man, that's cool. I mean, as somebody who is middle-aged and likes Steven Spielberg as much as the next person, I am very much into all that the genre of stories about the experience.
Yeah, it's semi-annual lecture program, leading scholars to speak at the university, 2 international academic conferences. Wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of funding.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like right. So the framing was you're interested more in the experience
Yeah,
than
yeah.
it is the.
I think this harkened back to our discussion of you bringing people in, right, to ask them their stories with music, then teaching
Yeah.
them to DJ.
Yeah, 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 totally. Yeah, and I think also to it'd be interesting. Like, what if maybe this is too abstract, but what if you took the lens of examining the experience of World War II, but you asked different generations of people to describe what was World War II like, or describe to me what was World War II.
Yeah.
World War II was such a profound human trauma.
But it's a very different trauma if you're 60 or 7, right? So
Exactly.
the lens is very different. That's interesting.
Yeah, so like what do current high school students think about what the salient facts about World War II were? Or if you were to ask them, like, describe to me what it would be like to be like a 17-year-old German boy in 1943 versus, somebody else, or 17-year-old American boy, about to be shipped off to war, like ask different generations to describe that experience. I want to see that research, I want to see, like, I guess because I've seen all the World War II movies and documentaries, but to know how people, because as profound as that war was, time just like washes over things.
Yeah. It's really easy to lose sight and forget.
Yeah. Why am I talking about world? Like I have any idea what I'm talking about?
It's related to the human experience.
Okay, cool.
And we're talking about lenses and life experience and how that relates. What music did you listen to during World War II?
Okay, yeah. I listened
Full
to.
circle. Man, but that is one of those profound things. I mean, we have a lot of neurobiologists on, and the tie between music and life experience is so profound, right? Like it can bring you back in an instant to a early love, or the most painful time of your life, or
Totally,
the death of a
man.
father. Like,
Yeah, there's bands that I straight up can't listen to anymore.
that's intense.
Yeah.
Are you willing to share any of those?
Yeah, Band of Horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't listen to them anymore.
I'm gonna say the Bad Breakup.
Yeah,
you don't have to reveal that.
Yeah, that was that bad breakup. No one's gonna love you more than I do.
But could you revisit it now, and would you have a different, like maybe nostalgic lens, maybe a recovered addict
So
lens?
I spend so much of my time, so much of my music listening time, trying to make sure that I'm not getting old. So I listen to a lot of pop music.
I see. You keep on top of things.
Yeah. But sometimes I'm in my office and I just want to like zone out and not think about like, so-and-so's new album. Like I got to think about like the top 3 things to say about this new album. Sometimes I just want to zone out, right?
Yeah.
But I can't think of like, okay, what playlist do I want to type in? But I think tomorrow I'm going to type in Band of Horses, y'all. I appreciate everybody in the chat encouraging me to. How's this cop here? How did he know I was going to jump over this wall?
That is impressive.
And why is he shooting me?
It's precognition.
Like all I did was beat somebody up. You're going to like bring out guns? Like tase me. You know?
Yeah, he's far too white for that. Too soon?
Too soon. It's happening every day. There's never any.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm also letting myself
prayers.
get killed because I think I got out of GTA what I wanted to get out, which was to tell a story about the times that I did live DJ
All right.
sets.
We did some
On
GTA. All right, so what do you want to do next then?
I guess let's do some NES.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's go way back. All right, so I'll close out some GTA. Marble Madness. It's time.
Ooh, yeah, I think I've had enough gin martini to be able to be successful at Marble
All
Madness.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we are jumping back to 1984.
1984. Okay, I think I got this game. Wow, when did the NES come out?
It was 82, 83.
Because to me, the NES didn't enter my life until like 86.
So I was born 82. When were you born?
I was born in 80.
80, okay.
Yeah,
That seems right to the timeline, right? It was a rich kid's game, and then it eventually infiltrated households.
yeah.
4 years, that's...
Okay, so this is a relatively early game
Yep.
for NES.
Yep. All right, do you want Infinite Time, or you want to do this?
Who are these jerks here?
It's default Nintendo programming right there.
I
That's
just want to
not...
make sure.
No, you are the first to play this on screen, by the way.
yes.
So, yeah, we're excited.
I legit have not played this game since maybe 1988.
That is amazing. But anyone that's not played Marble Madness, this is spectacular. Find it in browser. You can play this game whenever you want.
Oh, man. God, this game was so frustrating.
Yeah. But man, what a great game. So the crazy thing is there's only like 6 levels or something like that, right? It's
Really?
not a long game. It's relatively short.
No, there's got to be more than 6 levels.
I don't think there is. It's one down. We'll find out.
I'm sure we won't. I'm sure we will. We're going to plateau
So
very
let's
soon.
look up speedrun record. What's the fastest you think anyone has beaten this game?
93 seconds.
2 minutes and 38 seconds. Pretty
Okay.
close. So I don't think. God.
These little wormy guys were always really frustrating.
Yep, because they can digest you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
God, I'm so good.
This is amazing.
Guys, I'm better at this than I was at Gears. This music, I remember this. Da, 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 da. No, I was thinking too much about the music. How do I possibly remember this music?
I mean, like it played on loop indefinitely for hours of our childhood. Like I don't think you had a choice but to memorize it.
God, culture is so amazing.
Well, one thing that strikes me now is like from our youth, we had some very striking shared cultural touchstones. Like you probably watched Disney Afternoon like I did, right? Like DuckTales and Rescue Rangers and like...
I did a little bit, but other people watched that more than I did. I mean, keep
Yeah.
going. I'm sure you're definitely
Yeah,
going to find...
well, it was more of this line of like...
No!
Kids now have so diverse of experience, right? Whether it's what they watch or movies, but even us now, like how many... Back in the day, everyone watched Seinfeld, right? But
Yeah.
now there isn't that shared thing. It's like, did you watch Paramount Plus or Netflix or Hulu or whatever?
This is the deal with politics, right? There's no shared understanding of the world around us. There's
Yeah.
no shared culture.
Exactly.
I have to put in my initials again? Come on.
The best part is that's your quarter. You were done. Try again. They're so ruthless.
Right? They really were. When did games get away from that and
Yeah.
eventually let you
Set easy mode and whatnot.
yeah, or just I want to start at the same level. You
Yeah.
know, why do I have to do this?
Just
shit
save
again?
things. Yeah, exactly. Nope. Nintendo was ruthless.
I remember Super Mario Brothers 3 had a pretty good save system. I don't know what 2 was like.
I don't know if it lets you save powering off, but it lets you
No,
like stall.
you could save it where you stopped in terms of the road that you're on. You know?
Yeah.
Do-da-do.
But a lot of these cartridges just didn't have memory built in, right? It wasn't until like Zelda that was an option. And so the work through on Nintendo games was like the save codes, if you remember those, like Tyson's Punch Out, the code to get to Mike Tyson and whatnot. That was the loophole.
I don't know about those codes, but I played the hell out of Mike Tyson's, man.
If you want to play Tyson tonight, we can get you there. You'll get wrecked, but that's fine.
What? I'll get wrecked? What do you mean?
I mean, maybe.
Look at me in Marble Madness.
This is pretty solid Marble Madness.
Hey, so I was I was kind of into the NES, and I guess everybody was.
Yeah.
Dude, I had the what was the trackpad called?
The power pad.
I had the power pad and I had the power glove.
I have both of those things back there right now.
Bullshit.
I do.
God,
we can't set them up. I've tried to do power pad. I can't capture it in this space, unfortunately. But yes,
No!
I have both. If you want to get hammered some other Wednesday night and do some
For
power
real, dude.
pad,
What I want is the power glove.
it's so terrible. The power glove is so bad.
There's during my undergrad, I took this class at Florida State, this electroacoustic music composition course.
Yeah.
With this guy who was totally a nice guy, and I don't want to disparage composers or this guy in particular or whatever. But this guy was really into esoteric electroacoustic compositions. His name was Butch Rovan. I think he's at University of North Texas, so he's a well-known dude. Anyway, he had a he had he would do this cool composition thing where he'd wear all black, I think also including a black turtleneck, and he would, what's funny is that overlay right there is not an overlay, that had to be coded as
it's an independent image. Yeah. So they programmed in the grid on top of the color.
Right.
Yep.
But then how do they get that shape? They would have had to adjust multiple parts of the grid.
Yeah.
Oh man, how did I make it through that gauntlet? Then anyway, so he would have this he'd have the power glove. Out of time, come on. He'd have the power glove in one hand and then an infrared thing, so he would be proximity, MIDI, 0 to 127, controlling volume, and then doing gestures with the power glove. So
That's awesome.
it was cool.
I mean, so the power glove was sound based. I don't know if you knew how those works, but you put the thing on top of the screen.
Yeah, I
It did,
know. I remember
ultrasonic
calibrating that.
and-
That calibration was so.
it was so bad. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was infrared.
No, it's ultrasonic, so you can actually see the speakers in the end of it. I can grab it actually. No, it's right up there.
Okay, this is gonna be my last attempt here to get past this one freaking map.
So yeah, I can see.
Oh snap!
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is
Those of
crazy.
you not
Dude.
familiar with the power glove, there it is. You saw the movie.
Oh my god, this is the wind. Oh my god, I'm losing. I haven't physically seen a power glove since 1989.
There it is. Do you want to wear it while playing?
I do. California.
Oh my god.
That movie's so good.
Oh, it is terrible. When was the last time you saw that movie?
I saw that movie in the early 2000s.
All right.
How did I die from that? Come on, that wasn't that
All
far.
right, Shmodai, welcome back to the stream. Lots of great topics and great questions tonight. I'm here to add some mediocrity. Well, that's what we've been doing all night, so no worries on that. Fun shooting the shit, playing a little bit of Gears of War. We went on to Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and now we're on playing some Marble Madness. Shmonite is impressed with your Marble Madness skills.
Okay,
It
is
partner
it
control.
based?
Do you want to do infinite time? Because you can beat this game. Let me know.
I don't think I want to dedicate myself like that. Just because I'm too much of a perfectionist like that, and I'd rather get more of the poo-poo platter of video games than. But I appreciate that. But you actually secretly want me to beat this game.
You can do it. If you want to see the last level, I promise you, it's just a war of attrition when you have infinite time. Because it'll just kill you, and then you'll show up, you'll still do it over and over again.
You gotta play through all the friggin' levels again?
There's only 3. No, I can do it right now.
But I don't want to have to like start over at level 1.
No, you won't.
Okay.
Now you have infinite time. It stopped.
But infinite lives also?
Well, lives are time in this game. So as long as you don't, I think if you die, it doesn't matter.
I just realized that's how it works.
Yep.
Right. Okay, no.
So death just equals less time.
Wow. Like, has anything wiser ever been spoken?
Exactly. Cuddle Puppy, welcome back. It's been a while. We haven't had a stream for a month and a while, and it was because we had the first week of classes 2 Wednesdays ago, and nobody wants to do Ask a Scientist Gaming on the first week of class, and I completely understand that. But David stepped in. Thankfully, my guest actually canceled short term, and David, we were introduced, a week ago, and we got together, and we planned everything, got games planned out. Now we're playing Marble Madness. So, Cuddle Puppy wants to know, is Dr. Knapp a character from a Wes Anderson film? The glasses and the mustache, I think, is what.
Oh, the mustache. That's true, man.
The Wes Anderson, aesthetic.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate like being located within pop culture generally.
Exactly.
I started this mustache as a joke about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then now I think it's become part of the brand.
It's your branding.
Yeah, guys, I'm too cautious here. Now that I've got infinite time, I'm just like, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you. Look, I even got the magic wand, which I think
got
means
extra
I can do.
time.
Okay. Like I can just power through. It's like I don't care.
Cuddle Puppy, that's pretty on point. From now on, every time you come on stream, I want you to indicate what movie the guest should be from, or what movie genre. What movie am I from, Cuddle Puppy?
Oh, that's a good.
Know.
I think you're also from a Wes Anderson film.
Am I? I don't know which one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this part is the worst.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, I remember at some point it gets to be like, oh, that's right.
You gotta get momentum. That sound effect is amazing. I hope you guys can hear the death sound effect. You should mix that into a song.
Okay, I'm on it. Well, you were talking earlier off of Chiptune. Yeah, you're talking off stream about Chiptune.
Oh, man. All right. Is there any questions I should catch up on? I guess the other one we do a lot, or we like to ask our guests, and this is
awesome.
I mean, I'm curious where you go with this one, but unlimited budget, no moral qualms. What experiment do you do? And so this could be anything.
Okay, I didn't have to go back the other way. What am I most curious about?
Ken looks more like an Oppenheimer character who forgot his hat.
Oh, wow. That's mean. That's a really mean thing to say. Oh, gosh, guys,
Is this level 4? Is that right?
Yeah, it's level 4.
Yeah.
Man, that is such a good question. I don't know. Like, what am I actually curious about? Like, I'm curious about things within my field, and much of that is genuine curiosity.
I mean, so I could frame one for you. Is this, you want to, you're tracking student data and outcomes and things like that. Like, you could literally implant a chip in every kid in Dallas and find out who goes in music class, right? Like, you could get like the real data.
Okay, I want to know. Come on, relax, little guys. I would like to know about students' creative practices. I think creativity is where it's at. I don't know if I'm offending anybody with that sort of outlandish statement that creativity matters.
How dare you?
Okay, so I got to go fast enough, but then I'm going to get the whole spin out thing. Like, how could you possibly beat this without cheat codes, right? Look at that.
The answer is 2 minutes and 38 seconds.
Jesus.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I don't even remember how to do this. Like, you have to get it to launch you? Is that what happens here?
No, I think you got to get enough momentum.
Oh, and you think...
A little dust.
But anyway, yeah, student creativity. How do you, I don't know, experiment? What do you want to do?
So I want. Okay, this actually relates a little bit to to video games. So there's a game that we're going to play tonight, but we couldn't quite get my laptop working through the video, and that game is StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 is a game that do y'all know StarCraft 2 out there in the?
I think it's common enough. People know.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's like well, whatever. There's lots to say about StarCraft 2. It's a very important, prominent game within the history of gaming and esports as a profession. But I started playing in the late 90s in high school. I'm sorry, I started playing StarCraft in the late 90s. StarCraft 2 comes out in the 2010 to. I don't think it's possible what I'm doing.
Fast enough.
I don't know if it's possible. I guess maybe I have to get him to shoot me off somehow.
Oof, that was
Because
close.
this is not possible. Do I need to go over that other way, do you think?
I don't know if you can go back. Maybe you can cross. Try to hit the platform up there.
Yeah. It's hard to understand the
depth on this.
dimensionality. Exactly, right.
Oh, I want to do this
You
with
know?
the submersive lens. Oh, that was pretty close. Maybe you can do that.
How am I dying from that? Okay, let me go a little
It's
higher
too
up.
far of a fall, maybe.
Whatever higher up means.
Oh, nice. Oh, no. Don't worry, you have infinitime.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, stream. You're going to have to look at this for the next.
No, they came here for mediocrity.
Okay.
We're delivering.
So I was really into like measurement and behavior during my doc program.
Uh-huh.
Because one of the guys within our program, super smart guy, John Geringer, lovely dude, great researcher, and I was just so enamored by some of the stuff he was saying, and I was like, well, okay, how could we measure certain things within music? But meanwhile, I'm playing. All right, y'all, I'm giving up. I'm going this way.
Can you go back up? I don't even know. Let's see it.
So then I started to play. I was playing StarCraft, and I was like, all right, well, what? Then it dawned on me that StarCraft is StarCraft is measurable, like because, and it's measurable because it's data. It's a game. Like everything's ones and zeros. So then this behavior is automatically encoded as data.
Yep.
So, in also there's things that people were doing with StarCraft and have done with StarCraft in terms of like programming machines in the same way that like what's the IBM chess computer,
Deep Blue,
yeah, Big Blue. So they were basically doing that for StarCraft, and so then I was kind of interested. It's like, okay, well, like, what are the behaviors? Man, I don't know how to do this. This seems impossible. I think I went down a path that I should not have gone down.
I think you can do this jump, but you got to time up the throw. Like it's just like attrition. Just go and hope. Like
So these pistons are going to launch me?
yeah, at some point, like that one almost hit you. Yeah, that's what I'd do.
My God. But this is bad game design. Like, right? No, this is not like, oh, so I just need to keep doing this forever.
The goal is
until...
to eat your quarters. They got it locked down.
Yeah. Right. So then I remember thinking like, well, what if there was a way, and I remember writing my professor at the time, again, I was a doc student. I was like, oh, dear professor, here's something that I'm connecting on. So the transfer that I made was like, oh, well, games, like what if there's a way to digitize musical behaviors? So because you could quantify like strategic choices that people are making.
I see.
Or you could, I'm sorry, the important thing to say about StarCraft is that it's a real-time strategy.
Yeah.
So, which is to say that time is moving on
Yep.
as people are making choices, they're making decisions. So an event happens and they have to recalibrate and change what they're doing. That's really interesting. Like that happens all the time in music. Like you experience some input. What does that wand mean? What's happening? So then how do you zig or zag based on that input? Anyway, so I was sort of thinking about that and I was like, what is it like to measure decision making when you have all of that data there? As well as some performance things too, like the number of APM actions per minute as you're so anyway, then I sort of put that away in my brain to never be dealt with again because I didn't make any connections to, like I did digital music just as a hobby for a long time, but I never made a connection to that and music ed because it seemed like it was totally superfluous to what music ed did.
Yeah.
Similarly, like digital platforms seemed like not music ed. Music ed is choir and band.
Yeah.
But then during the pandemic, and Brian, I teach music, I don't know if you're still on, but during the pandemic, I was like, wait a second, everybody's going to this online platform called SoundTrap. let me call those people up and see if they'd give me any data. And so we did. Brian and I called them up and said, hey, could you give us all of your login data that's ever happened? And they somehow said, yeah, sign these NDAs and we'll give them to you. And then I realized, like, oh, wait a second, I've got login data. And we did some big data research about login stuff, like
that was close.
When people logged in,
Yeah.
the effects of the COVID pandemic on logins. Anyway, that was cool. But then I realized, no, all these projects that people are making are digitized.
Yeah.
And so now we could actually, in like a machine learning AI kind of way, measure or categorize
Decision making, creativity.
yeah, and like particularly model. I wanted to model through various clustering mechanisms, like how people are being creative.
That's pretty fun.
So like, I guess that's what I'd like to do. So maybe there's like a brain implant. Okay, this is my new. I'm gonna go this way.
I mean, even
wall.
that idea, you get a couple computer programmers and data processors, like throw enough money at that. There's data in SoundTrap that somebody's going to find something.
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem right now with that particular collaboration is, man, I was at a dinner party a few days ago with this guy who does pig artificial intelligence. So if you think about like you own a whole bunch of pigs, right? You're some sort of like large industrial farmer. You want to know if a pig's healthy and what you need to do to like get them, like, are they eating enough? Are they sleeping enough?
Yeah.
Well, rather than having to go down to the barn and check on them, what if you just had like a friggin' camera looking at them? So that's what this guy sells.
Yeah.
And he said the problem that he has is that he needs to have third parties like analyze his product to see if it's good or not. And so he's trying to get up with like University of Iowa or one of those farm, one of those farm universities,
agricultural program.
To like look at. Man, I don't know if I'm going to do this. This is like we've been here for like 15 minutes. Okay, yeah,
let me give it a try.
Ken's taking over, everybody.
I haven't played this game for a long time. I'm genuinely curious.
So he was saying that he's having a hard time convincing these universities to analyze the efficacy of his product.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm having the opposite problem. I'm like berating this for-profit company. Please give me your data. I will tell a story about it. Ken's been here for like 30 seconds. I'm like, sure.
Sorry, I play a lot of retro games.
Okay, cool. You got it, man. That was impressive, man. I don't know if y'all are in a position where you can clap in the room that you're in, but go ahead.
Cheers, everyone.
Go ahead and give a clap.
If you have a drink in hand, cheers. We're drinking some, dirty gin martinis tonight. Mine is gone, so cheers to that.
Slow taps.
No, I like that. That's fun. But it's so you guys have published on that. You published like COVID data tracking and things like that. But you signed an NDA. What's the restriction on what you can publish?
The restriction is that I have to show it to them before it gets published.
So they can approve what.
They can approve it, but importantly, they did not have any content control over it. So I get to say whatever I want to say. And then they can either say, no, you can't publish this.
I see.
Which it's fine. Like you don't want editorial control, but at the same time, I'm willing for them to say, I mean, there's a little bit of a problem here where they can, like, let's say, okay, so for example, I'm doing a current study that's doing a cluster analysis of the types of, there's like a few different engagement behaviors that the platform tracks. I'm just going for it. No.
I think it's a good strategy. Just commit. Putrid Kitty, welcome to the stream. What's up? First time chat. Thank you for joining us. If you're not following, click the follow button. Ask a Scientist Gaming every other Wednesday night. Congratulations. Every other Wednesday night, we have a guest on. Our guest today is Dr. David Knapp. He's from the College of Music. He's a music education expert.
Expert.
Well, I mean,
you
are an expert.
If a PhD means anything.
Okay. Is it honorary or is it a real? You wrote a thesis. I'm going to say you're an expert.
Yeah.
But he's an expert in music education, steel band.
You mean vernacular music education?
Vernacular musical education. Accessibility. He's intrigued in accessibility of music and music education in non-traditional formats like Man, like homeless shelters, and you listed a bunch earlier.
Yeah, homeless shelters. I did some community music there. I did some music with immigrant youth in Syracuse. Now I'm doing, like we were just talking about, SoundTrap, this online music making platform.
That's fun.
So yeah, their NDA there was that you can only say, like, you have to show it to us first, but they're not going to have any sort of editorial control.
Yeah.
And then also we had some of the numbers. This is interesting. At the time, SoundTrap was owned by Spotify. They're not anymore.
Oh, interesting.
And because Spotify is a publicly traded company, there's some securities and exchange things.
Whew.
So like I couldn't, so for example, their raw number of users, I couldn't publish that. I could have published it approximately, because if it's not publicly available knowledge, I can't.
It's insider trading.
Insider trading stuff. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man, Cuddle Puppy, does Dr. Knapp have any recommendations for learning music theory and or composition for free? I'm looking to compose a soundtrack for my experimental video game.
Oh, I love everything about that.
You tore through that level. Congratulations.
This level is way easier than last one.
I don't know how this game works.
I
How
think
many
this
levels? I was way wrong. I don't know how many levels you're in
There's a
now.
lot, dude.
Levels in Marble Madness.
I think you're selling a. Was that Cuddle Puppy that was asking that?
Yep.
Cuddle Puppy, I want to, much to maybe Julianne, who's on here previously, I don't think you need to concern yourself with music theory. Like, why bother? There's plenty of ways to make music now. How is this possible?
I think you jump off this fast enough, and I think you go down the...
And that drops me down. I'm having a hard time understanding the depth, so I don't know what happens after that.
Yeah, I think it's just run down this as quick as you can. And that'll get you across the bridge.
So,
There's speed burst in this? Like, I don't know
oh,
if
there
you press
must...
this button.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, try pressing like
I
A or
did
B or
B. Let
something.
me try A now.
Oh man, we've been missing the speed boost.
Nintendo only had 2 buttons, everybody. There we found it out.
It only took 7 levels. We got it later.
Figure out this. That's why I couldn't get across that thing the whole time. Oh, this is the ice. So yeah, you can make music in a lot of ways that don't involve you having to know music theory. Like if we're talking about creating music, you know, I think you use the word compose. The word that I use just for my students is I use the word create, because I think compose has too many connotations of like sharps and flats and staff notation. But if you're just trying to create, there's lots of ways of creating that you don't have to know theory for. The platform that I was just talking about that I research is SoundTrap. SoundTrap is a web-based digital audio workstation. And so what you can do in that platform is you can where is this? Whoa, this is trippy.
Yeah, so this is it. This is the end. And there are only 6 levels. It's right there.
Okay. So in SoundTrap, you can create... Wait, falling down there gets me all kerplunked? How's that?
Yeah, so you gotta like time this bridge.
Yeah,
See that?
but this is such a small fall. Come on. Be generous.
It's pretty ruthless. But this is it. If you get through that gate, the game is over.
This guy, within 2 minutes and however many seconds?
2 minutes and
God.
38 seconds.
Do I start a little bit further along? No, I don't. Jerks. So SoundTrap, you can have 3 different types of audio. You can record yourself, great. You can bring in samples, and they actually have like a lot of loops, like tens of thousands of loops available to you. So you could just like straight up bring in loops. And what's cool about it is you can type in things. For example, like you go in the browser window, you can be like, hey, I want something that's dark and punk. And it'll give you like, oh, here's a drum loop that's dark and punk. And then you can even like write your own stuff using MIDI data. You connect like a piano keyboard or whatever. So you can do a lot of that stuff without having to know music theory. So like, this is not to disparage the value of knowing theory, but if it's a barrier to you actually getting out there, like what's stopping you from writing this music for your video game now? Is it that you think that you need to know what like a 5/7 chord is? And if that's the case, then like, don't worry about that. Like, there's a lot of people that make music that don't know what all that stuff is. I like the advice column turn that this channel is taking.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, especially grad students, because grad school is hard. We all experienced it, so yeah.
Not me, I just played Grand Theft Auto.
Putrid Kitty. Dr. Knapp is a goat for real. Planning to do my senior project with him soon. Just stopping by to support.
Oh,
yours.
Oh, that's awesome. I got some undergrads to attend with it.
Yeah. Misadventures, welcome back. Misadventures in Astro, long time no see. Absolutely, it's been a while. Start of the semester was 2 weeks ago. I couldn't get anyone to stream during that week, so it's been, man, what has it been? 4 or 6 weeks since the last stream. So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's one thing talking about numbers, right, and consistency and productivity. And this Twitch stream will never be huge, and it's because we don't stream frequently enough, right?
What's the frequency that you think like pros Twitchers?
I mean, if you look at any of the like top Twitch streamers, it's like 8 hours a day kind of thing. Every single day they're generating content, and if you take a week off for vacation, you lose half your subscriptions, kind of thing. So it is a massive war of attrition, and we don't stream frequently enough. Nonetheless, we have returners like Misadventures and Cuddle Puppy and others. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you for coming back. Thank you for joining us. We will be back on every 2 weeks. Check out our Twitter or the About section for the upcoming schedule. We are scheduled through December 18th every other week. So, in fact, in 2 weeks we'll have Kelly Farquharson from. She's from communication. She's a speech pathologist. And then 2 weeks after that, actually, we're streaming live from the Challenger Center Planetarium.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fun. So David Collins will be the guest. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
This level is insane.
Is it not?
Like the difference in all the other levels in this one is
this
like...
one makes you do it on a timeline. So Cut Puppy says, is SoundTrap used to make professional stuff?
Yeah, so, Cuddle Puppy, I don't want to get too deep into your psychology here, but my answer to that, I guess, is... Okay, my honest answer to your question is, like, probably not. But then my other answer is, like, I don't know, who cares? You know? Like, okay, so what do you mean by professional? You probably mean, like, is it at least stereo quality, high def? And the answer is, like, yes, it does 44.1, you know... So yeah, it's totally fine in that regard. If you have the right microphone and the right digital interface, audio interface, you're going to be able to capture perfectly fine audio in that. So if you're singing, you're going to be able to produce pretty good sounding vocal tracks, no problem. Now, the effects that it has built in, it has, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 dozen built-in effects, and you could probably get a relatively good EQ going on, but no, nobody's like people in the industry are not using SoundTrap to record and master stuff.
Yeah.
But again, like, what's the obstacle here? And okay, let's take you out of this. What's the obstacle to people creating? It's having access to stuff that like allows them to do the stuff they want to do. And so that's probably SoundTrap. SoundTrap probably allows you to do the things that you want to do. So all that other stuff is just like pretension and like artifice.
Well, the other thing I'll add to that barrier is user friendliness. So presumably this is easy to digest. It's quick to learn, and yeah.
Totally. Yeah, my favorite DAW is Ableton Live, and that is some dense stuff. Not that it's like ideas are dense, it's just like the UI is just like really, impenetrable.
Learning curve.
Man, do you want to take over this level? I feel like
I've not played this in a long time, but it's like a speedrun strat, right? I don't know if I can beat this.
I can't make that corner right there at the top. Ugh.
They did this in 38 seconds. And they have it like biased so they can like time up the next section. They like jump over.
Oh, I see. And then it's like, I wish it would regenerate me like a little bit further, but then those spots don't exist.
Yeah,
they're all moving.
If you hit the next section, then you're fine.
But that next section is like...
Yeah, exactly. That's miles away.
God.
Should we change games? Because this is...
Okay, are you giving up on Marble Madness? Okay.
I kind of am.
Okay, right
that's non-trivial. What do you want to do? We got Punch-Out, we got RC Pro-Am.
Dude. Or in late, if we ever do Tetris, then I can just tell stories about
no worries.
My dad.
Let's do RC Pro-Am. I don't think I have any cheat codes enabled, but there are cheat codes for this. So if you want to do it. Man, this is a classic racing game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going way back. What was this one? 86?
I don't know, but you got the Wikipedia. I don't remember it, but this was like the same era to me.
Yeah, this is one I have on the shelf.
Oh, you got this?
Yeah.
Dude, I've got an NES in my office.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I've never played it because I haven't been able to figure out how to connect it HDMI.
Yeah, exactly. You have to do a CRT connection.
Yeah, I need to just like go on Amazon and buy that.
I mean, these emulators are pretty good. Like I have that's an original Nintendo controller, and it's a conversion to USB. Yeah. Yeah, I'm all about classic gaming purity, but one thing I'll say about these emulators is they've recreated the hardware in silico. So it's running a Nintendo on the computer. And it's because speedrunners are so meticulous on timing and how fast things are.
Yeah.
So it's running the true game, but it's doing it in silico.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right. Lori is redeemed to request a factoid. Do you have a factoid or a knowledge bomb you'd like to drop on the audience?
Oh, gosh.
We have not done any predictions tonight.
We haven't done any predictions.
Any of these guys.
I can hijack any of my predictions?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to do the images? Because I have those. The data
we can do the
SoundTrap.
on-screen images.
Which one do you want to do?
Okay, but let's ask this question first. Okay. Is this a prediction or a factoid? I don't know. We can ask. People can just type it in chat. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we were just talking about SoundTrap, right? And that graphic that you set up, I think, is a good one to use.
Yep.
So SoundTrap is a web-based digital audio workstation, which means that people can log in, and it's device independent. So you can be in Chrome, or you can be on like an iOS device, and it's because they've got an app, and you can create music. So it's perfect for like K-12 students. So it had a fairly well-regarded user base prior to COVID. Oh, you're showing it already.
No,
Darn.
not yet,
Okay,
not yet.
that's
No,
the
this is the one you
pre-screen.
see, yeah.
Okay, I need to start doing that in my stream.
Yeah. Studio mode gives you both.
Got you. Nice. So, pandemic happens. Music teachers can't exist in real life. Music classes can't happen. How do you do music education? Well, you move a lot of it online, in particular to SoundTrap, because it's kind of like the biggest name in the game.
And it was free.
So, and it was not free, but they gave away free ones. Oh, I was first place. Okay, phew. But they gave away licenses as trials and stuck around. So what? How big of a jump would you say there was for educational licenses to SoundTrap between pre-pandemic and post-pandemic? Like, and I guess to quantify this, let's talk about standard deviation. So go ahead and type in chat. We've got a number of users that are fluctuating as user bases do on platforms, and then the pandemic happens. How many? Let's just go ahead and assume that there is going to be an increase. How big is that increase? How many standard deviations above normal?
Does anyone have a guess? Throw them in chat. We'll put up the image now. This is going to be our factoid for the moment. But the answer is more than one. What is your guess? And it's kind of hard for people to conceptualize standard deviations, because at some point becomes huge. But if anyone has a guess,
I'll
throw it
say
in
this,
chat.
y'all. I am 6'6". I'm a very tall fellow,
That's true.
and I am less than 2 standard deviations above normal.
Yeah.
So
So you're in the top 1% of heights or something.
I'm in the
like
top
that.
1% of heights, and
Yeah.
I'm still less than 2 standard deviations.
Yeah.
So it's a way of quantifying how.
So at 6'2", I'm at top 3% and probably 1.5 standard, something like that.
Yeah.
Cuddle Puppy 69. God damn it, Cuddle Puppy.
What's Cuddle
69.
Oh, 60. Oh, I thought their name was Cuddle Puppy.
No.
It's so funny. We're so inured by online culture that I didn't even notice.
That didn't
I
even
didn't
phase you.
track
Yeah, 420 69 XXX.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cuddle Puppy.
Well, first of all, 69 is an insane number in terms of standard deviation. 420 is that much more insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and just score
All
all
right,
the fun.
2.2 by Schmonite. Not bad. All right, let's pop the image up right now. So,
Schmonite is closer than anybody else.
so that's standard deviations of users versus time. Guess when COVID happened in this graph, ladies and gentlemen?
Exactly.
Right there. And
Yeah.
the answer is, what did it peak at? 5 standard deviations.
Yeah, 5 standard deviations. But what's interesting about that is, so what you're looking at a time series, and time series have a few different attributes, one of which is called seasonality. So trend and seasonality are the two things you think about most with time series. So you can see a trend. Oh, I'm sorry. This is actually de-seasoned, what you're looking at.
Okay.
If you want to pull up the other
This one.
graphic. Yeah. No.
Those
is that
are
all
the
I
two you
sent
sent
you?
me,
Okay,
yeah.
never mind. So go back to the other one.
Yep.
Because it's pink and pretty. This is actually de-trended and de-seasoned. But essentially, you would see there would be a steady increase, which is the trend. I took that out for the time series, so you can see the variances from normal. But then you also have seasonality, which in the case of an education platform would be the semesters,
I see.
right? So you'd see a lot of people signing up for a program or software or whatever in August, definitely. But then you'd also see another big uptick, probably in January in the United States, corresponding to our hemispheres. So it's interesting that you had an impact of the onset of the COVID pandemic at some point in the spring, but then the bigger deviation was what happened at the beginning of the next summer. So summer the logins go down.
That's
because
the dip
people
here?
that's the dip, is that summer. But then during the start of the new school year, people are like, oh crap, this COVID thing, it's for real. So let's go ahead and get this. So that was the bigger, right. So the bigger deviance from normal was the start of the school year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we're to game over.
over.
Oh, sorry, we switched back. All right,
Yeah.
do you want to jump through another one? We're speed running the retro games.
Let's do Top Gun. Let's do Top Gun, man.
All right. Top Gun, ladies
That
and gentlemen.
refuel level.
Then we got to land. Oh, good times. But the music, I don't know if you remember it. They captured it pretty well in this one. Oh, did it not? It might be the start screen that has it.
Yeah.
Kitten Cook, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the first time chat. Use the power glove to lamb. It worked for Angry Video Game Nerd. I don't know if you've seen that YouTube channel, but
No.
he just rants against old video games. No one uses the power glove in this game. And I swear the startup screen on this had the song, had the, what was it? Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but classic.
I don't know what's happening here. Okay.
I think it's just fly around, shoot things. I think you have rockets and bullets. Man, this one's been a while.
Oh, so I don't control speed at all?
Shmonite, 5 standard deviations is insane. So what does that translate into to like percent increase?
I don't know. I didn't actually do that. I'd have to look at that. I'd have to look at the absolutes.
I mean, that's got to be like at least a 10-fold increase in user base or something like that.
It was no, I'm sorry, I do know the answer to this question. It was a 20-fold increase.
Holy shit. And they're like, how do we handle this on our servers?
Well,
We
their
were not
servers
ready.
had big problems, actually.
Okay. It makes sense. I mean, they were not expecting that.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, Ask Scientist Gaming, mediocre gameplay, expert science. Our guest today, Dr. David Knapp, who's an expert in music education and understanding all sorts of things related to that. Misadventures is redeemed. Take a drink. So, are you out?
I'm out.
Oh man,
I mean,
I don't know what we do with that.
I could.
got a
I don't know if I
half
could
hour
do
left.
another martini, but I could do another something else.
I have a couple beers here if you want to do that. Don't have.
Yeah, I-
grab a list in the fridge.
Yeah, I could do other beers. I can't do more martinis, everybody. I have a.
Yeah, you gotta drive home. I got wheat beers. I have High Lie. I have Blue Moon. What was that? Hefeweizen.
I'll do a highlight.
High Lie. All right.
I forget how to. Are there chafes? Can I chafe? Chaps?
I do
Thank
not
you.
know this game. Anyone want a backseat game? Feel free to add your comments in there.
These games are so much fun, dude.
Lori, I still have drinks left over from your party sampler that you gave me a while ago. I just don't drink beer unless I'm doing Ask a Scientist Gaming, and I end up drinking other people's beers. So I slowly work my way through it, so I'm excited. So cheers. Who is that? Misadventures, thank you for redeeming. Give us an excuse to hang out, drink, play video games 2 weeks into the semester.
So am I supposed to take a drink now?
Yes. So we'll do cheers. David, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, man. You're splendid, and this whole thing is
Thank you.
splendid. I appreciate you.
Yeah, we are crossing disciplinary boundaries. I'm excited when we get people from music and history and all over the campus. Not just chemists. Chemists are boring. Just kidding. I love my chemist colleagues, but also I learn more from my colleagues outside of my discipline. So, David, thank you for saying yes to this and joining me.
Of course,
it's been
man.
an awesome pleasure.
Too late. Oh, okay.
Cuddle puppy. My backseat gaming tip was to use the power glove. I love the power glove. It's so bad.
But how do I get rid of this guy on my tail? I actually I remember now. How do I remember this? You just shake them. You just go back and forth enough until they're like, oh, I can't track him because he's too wily.
This game's so realistic.
Oh, yeah. Okay, to landing sequence.
Shocked that's my first time chat. I've been here for a while, Kid and Cook. It says first time chat on my screen. I don't know. But that's awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for chatting. It's a pleasure to have you. If you guys have questions for David, he's happy to answer them. We're about, like 2 minutes away from playing some NARC, so...
Oh, God.
Are you ready for that?
I've never heard of this game.
David got no practice because we were troubleshooting StarCraft.
NARC used to be a arcade game.
Yes, it is that game, but it was ported to the Nintendo system. So if you played the arcade one, you're going to play a shitty version of that tonight.
I don't know if I ever did. I just recognize it. Speed down. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm trying to speed down. Come on.
Oh, yeah, there's something stupid about the elevation and the height, and oh, man.
God, I think at some point I was like, wow, this is so realistic. You know,
It's like I'm in the Air Force, man.
exactly.
There's this Navy. I don't know. What does this count as?
Oh, come on. Jerk.
I think we had a guest play this game. I think they landed.
Oh, come on.
Well, I was surprised because I never got
I
to
thought
land.
you were ninth.
I was absolutely never able to land on this. All right, so we got about 25 minutes left in the stream. That seems like a reasonable time for NARC. So, man, David, are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready. I mean, you've seen me so far fail and flop on every single game. Man, if we could have gotten StarCraft to work tonight, I would have you would have seen like, oh, this is somebody who has played video games at least once in their life.
No worries. We talked about humanizing. Get off your ivory tower. You suck. Welcome to Ask a Scientist Gaming. All right, first time chat from Midya. I'm so glad I got here from Time for NARC. Everyone, yes, let's get a NARC emote out there. All right, David. Well, this is NARC. This is a bargain bin game for the NES. So originally it was for the arcade. It's a pretty spectacular arcade game, but then it got ported to the NES. They got rid of all the blood, but not all the violence. And so it's a slightly different game, but you need some backstory. So I'm going to read you the back of the original Nintendo cartridge. So, ladies and gentlemen.
This card, like this, oh man, I haven't seen anything like that.
Nintendo cartridge?
Right.
Yeah. No, it has the booklet in it and everything.
Right.
You can get backstory and lore and advice. All right, you are Max Force. Your mission, to bust Mr. Big and destroy his dreaded criminal empire. Seize all contraband, stolen money, illegal weapons, use rocket bombs, high-powered machine guns, apprehend all suspects, protect the innocent, punish the guilty, and stop at nothing.
Man, fuck Mr. Big.
So this is the game. So the qualifier on that is, for our stream, you're trying to beat this as quickly as possible. The other qualifiers, you have infinite bullets, infinite rockets, and infinite lives. So you will beat this tonight. It's a question of how long it takes. And so feel free to press start whenever you want. As soon as he hits the ground running, I'm going to click the timer on.
God damn it! I didn't know this is like.
Do you want the timer or do you not want the timer?
No, I mean I have to have the timer. This is like your
do you want
stick.
to see it?
Oh no, I don't want to see it.
All right, I'll put it over here.
But like you've done this with so many 87 different people.
Yes.
What are you doing for your 100th stream?
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting time. That'll be sometime, not next summer. It'll probably be next fall when that happens. So I'll get the president on. McCullough, you think he'll play some?
Dude,
I could ask.
It's a great idea, man. You're this whole thing is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I feel under pressure here that like 86 other people have done this.
No, there is pressure. I mean,
okay.
just got to beat.
But I guess I can always be like, oh, qualified. I never played this game before. Like I just pressed an A button and apparently that means jump.
Oh, there's our timer. All right, so I'm going to walk you through the commands, but basically you have no advantage in killing people. You just want to go right as quick as you can.
Is there a way to
find
go
a
faster?
door? No, you saunter at the same speed. This is what you do. You're going to go through that door,
okay,
and then walk right, and you're going to find a card eventually. So there's 2 buttons, but they turn 4 arcade buttons into 2 Nintendo buttons, and they did this by, if you tap B, you can jump. So under 7 frames, it's a jump. And if you hold B, you're going to squat, but you don't want to do that because it slows you down. Grab that card, go right, find a door. And then if you tap A, it's rocket. And if you hold A, it's bullets. And so go up through that door. And so later in the game, you're going to have to do a jump rocket. So tap B and then tap A. And it's worth practicing that a little bit. Because if you get that down,
I got that down, dude. Look at that.
So you want the rocket to be like right here. So on the way down, oh yeah, you're going to be fine. Go through the door. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are off to the races. Go right, find a door. This is the game. Oh, man. Cuddle puppy. So you've been tired of my crap all these years without meeting me. Absolutely true. All right. Understream will be sick. Oh,
but those rockets slow me down, so I should jump over those.
Yeah. Anytime they shoot you, every 7 bullets cost you a second. So it's up to you how fast you want to go. Find the rhythm, absolutely. There is if you guys are interested, there's an hour-long tutorial on how to beat this in under 10 minutes. So if you guys want to check out my YouTube page, it's on there.
You mean there's a video? I mean, you made the video.
I made the video. So yeah, I'm a photochemist that does multi-layer assemblies on metal oxide interfaces for solar cells. I'm also one of the world's foremost experts at NARC. So also on my CV.
Do you think there's anybody better at this than you?
So fun factoid, I used to be the world record holder in the speed run of this. All right, you're going to shoot the black guys with bullets at close range.
Wait, but why do I have to shoot them?
A, because they're going to drop a blue card. And so, yeah, so shoot, well, you can shoot the brown guys too. But hold the A button, that'll give you bullets.
Hold it.
Not rockets, but yeah, bullets.
And I need the card.
Well, there'll be a blue card, you haven't gotten it yet, so kill everything on screen. And this is stupid because Nintendo hitboxes, like, you have to kill them up in this range for some reason, so the guys on the bottom of the screen don't help you, so kill them.
Where are the black dudes?
You only get 3 people on the screen, so you kill them.
Okay, man, you know so much about the game.
It's ridiculous. So this is an RNG, you have a 1 in 8 chance of getting this card to drop. So you're just kind of playing statistics. If you want to shoot the dog, press both buttons, and there you go, blue card. Get it?
Why isn't it letting me?
There you go, because Nintendo has shitty hitboxes.
I still can't go through that.
What is your record for this? So my record, so the former world record when I started playing was 9 minutes and 32 seconds. My first world record was 9:28. My second was 9 minutes and 7 seconds. And then I told the guy, "Oh yeah, you have blue card. Go."
I was trying. It wasn't letting me in.
Hit the card slot.
Oh,
go a little more right.
Okay. Sorry, it was 1 millimeter off.
Exactly. Hitboxes. Jesus. But yeah, my record was 9 minutes and 7 seconds. That stood for about a year, and then the former world record holder came back with my coaching and beat my record. So,
with your coaching, you coached him.
I told him how to do it. I told him the key steps to do it.
Man,
it's part of the tutorial.
That says a lot about your character, doesn't it?
In retrospect, I regret it. It also says something about my character. All right, so yeah, you're going to go to the right. You'll find a car eventually and jump in it and drive on the bottom of the screen.
Is the spawning of these guys also random? Like, are you able to plan for, like,
it's not
is
random.
Your pathing the same?
My general pathing is the same, but their spawns are actually, it's really nuanced, because if you press a button, you change the spawn. So it is deterministic, but your motions change the outcome.
Like even my A and B buttons?
Yep.
Ah.
Any press dictates when
Have you looked at the code at all? Like, how did you know this just from
So my brother, so jump in that and stay at the bottom of the screen. So jump, tap B. There you go, stay at the bottom of the screen. So my brother is actually, that's it. That's what was going to happen. Okay. So Lori, cheers. Thank you. She always takes a drink there because you clearly don't know how to drive. So cheers, David. Good luck on the rest of this level. My brother's actually a computer and electrical engineer, and he started looking at the reverse engineering of the code. So he figured out some of the spawn stuff, and I used that to beat the record. So yeah.
Wow.
No, what's funny is
you're like that guy that basically like the hot dog eating guy, where he was like, oh wait, I don't have to, I can just eat these separate.
Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, you're the Joey Chestnut of this video game.
Of all the icons of performance you can pick, it's not the Einsteins, it's not the LeBron James, it is the Joey Chestnut.
No, okay, I mean, I don't know about Einstein.
I don't take that personally.
I don't know much about Einstein, but but LeBron was just really athletic and worked hard.
Yeah.
No, the Joey Chestnut guy, he was just like, oh, I can actually just like not have to follow like
The convention. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. I'm gonna go into the code and look at what's up.
Yeah, the Fosbury flop of high jumping, right? Where you revolutionize the strategy. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
right.
I like it. Yeah, that's usually where the record breaking and speedruns come from. But
Freaking dogs are really slowing me down.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to do. Is it
so
faster
you
to
can
turn around
hold
and
both
shoot 'em?
buttons and shoot them, squat and shoot at the same time. So yeah, hold both. Just turn around. Yep. There you go. And then go right. You'll come up on a
I
car
understand the whole
eventually.
game this way. So, do you have any desire to go back to it? I mean, at some point, there actually is a critical time that you can't do it any faster.
Oh yeah. No. So
Have you calculated that?
we've done an optimized speed run and it's 8 minutes and 54 seconds.
So you're about
we're
15 seconds away.
yeah.
From,
But that's all perfect RNG and all that. Yeah.
What's RNG mean?
Random number generator. So
Oh,
like
okay.
the blue card drops when it's
Right.
gonna happen. Like you need to get lucky, basically.
Yeah. So you can only practice it yourself so much, but then you just have to do it 1,000 times.
Yep, exactly.
Have you calculated how many times that would be?
I have not done that math. I wanted to get the record, and that's what I did. I actually got it shortly before my. Man, it was like after COVID, and then there was like my kid was going to start preschool or something. There was a window where I was trying to beat the record, and now that window's gone.
That's so cool.
Also, doesn't show up in my 10-year pack. So- all right, in this car, stay on the bottom, and you can drive all the way to the end of the. Well, not quite all the way. So go up to the top of the screen, and then you're good. Jump over that guy, and that's it. Reasonable pace. All right, if you guys have questions of David, he's happy to answer them. Yeah, distract him. Try to get him to fail at NARC. You're doing a pretty good timeline.
Yeah, it's all right.
This is, yeah, don't you remember the 80s? This is exactly what the world.
I remember
was
you got
like.
the clown. There's always clowns.
So you
holding
did Dare
knives.
program too then. You did the same program I did probably.
I did what now?
Dare?
Oh, I was in Dare, man. Yeah, I got the
Oh
shirt.
man.
Yeah.
And we didn't do any drugs.
God. Yeah, I didn't do any drugs at all. Yeah. Also, Reagan. Am I right, everybody? Best president ever? Come on. Can I get a shout out in the text?
You're gonna go this door right here. All right, you're gonna pick up a silver card to the right, and heads up at this door. If you press up and keep pressing up, it'll put you back in the door. So you want to press up, go through the door, but not too much. That's what you don't want to do. 10 seconds, it's all lost.
Why do they do that? Just bad gameplay?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So go left.
Left. I don't know how to go left. I've only gone right.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Nintendo games, you are spectacular. Oh, all right. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, throw them in chat. If not, I want to figure out some of my standard ones. Do you have a favorite equation? You just
Oh man, my favorite equation
What
is
it?
well, I was kind of into math in high school, but like I mean only like algebra. So I got to go with x equals opposite of b
left.
plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Nice. We're quadraticing, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so these guys, these Rambo-looking guys, you want to shoot with bullets. So you're going to hold A when they get close. So you're going to kill that guy. Yeah, that's marijuana blowing you up, by the way.
Oh, that's so
So
funny.
shoot that guy with bullets. Green card. That was nice RNG. All right. Perfect. That was quick. All right, so you have officially lost the world record. I am sorry. You're past 9 minutes.
Oh, I'm looking.
But
Yeah.
no, you're doing okay. I won't give you the time of your colleagues yet till you get to the end.
Oh man, I'm gonna be so
So
upset.
go right. The clowns you can jump over.
God, clowns.
All
yeah,
right.
man, the 80s are weird. There are always clowns coming after you.
Yeah, who knew? You kids don't know how hard we had it. That's what I tell my students. You know, we're clowns with knives. Oh man. If any of my students are on chat, today was a special day. Like Gen Chem, I teach the big Gen Chem class, 250 students.
Wow.
I have a day of lecture where we talk about crystalline solids, and I diatribe against the diamond industry, healing crystals, and hematite
Dude,
rings.
my wife is a diamond scholar.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
Oh man, what are her thoughts on the diamond industry?
Well, she's a cultural anthropologist, so you know she thinks everything is, you know, culturally derived anyway. So she's got no. Yeah, but she researched diamonds in the Canadian high Arctic. And
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and how there's the creation of an ethical diamond required both cultural technologies and cultural infrastructures. I forget. I'm doing a bad job of describing her.
No worries.
But it was y'all should look it up. Her
card right there.
Her book, look it up on Amazon right now, is called Under Pressure.
Under Pressure.
Yeah, her name is Lindsay Bell. Great name for a book.
Also a Queen song.
What?
Under Pressure book. I have to add book at the end. Confronting the epidemic.
Nope, not that one. Okay. Do Under Pressure diamond mining. Oh man, she's not even the first.
No, that first one was stress related. Under Pressure diamond mining, and
that's it. That's her cover.
That's the book. Diamond mining in everyday life in northern Canada. Yeah, diamond mining in northern Canada has to be very different than Africa, especially in the early 1900s.
But that was what she was talking about. It's the creation of like a quote unquote ethical diamond. What they called white diamonds, which had some racial implications to it.
That was as opposed to a blood diamond. Presumably.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway. You were talking about diamonds?
What's her stance on the synthetic / man-made diamonds then?
Well, she would not want to answer that question, not in like an obnoxious way. Oh, I got to do this crouching thing.
Yep.
She would instead want to know more about what it means to be authentic. She would want to ask. She'd want to know from the people, perhaps you, perhaps from other people, what it means to be like an authentic diamond.
Oh man, she and I need to have a conversation because I have an entire PowerPoint slide dedicated to, like, composition of matter doesn't care the process that got it there.
Dude, right? So she has a paper.
So this guy you're going to shoot with rockets. So kill everyone on the screen. That dude in the wheelchair will show up. These guys are going to just bullet. It's tap A. So tap A while he's close. Little faster. There you go.
Yeah. Wait, so who am I looking for?
The guy in the wheelchair that comes back. So kill these guys. Just rocket them or whatever.
Because you can only have 3 guys on the screen.
Yep, exactly.
So she's got a. Yeah, did I get it? No.
Nope. All right. No, wait for him. He'll come back. So I recommend not chasing him. Stay in the middle.
Okay, right. Okay, yeah, you're right.
So kill these guys. He'll come back. Yeah, shoot the guy in the wheelchair. How hard is it?
You're in the wheelchair, dude. How are you so fast?
Oh man, high pressure. But anyway, we were talking about.
Am I tapping too quickly?
No, that's right. There, it's a little too long. So a little gentler. Little gentler on the tap. There you go. That's one. All right, you need 3 times.
What? 3 times?
He's got 3 wheelchairs. So wheelchair 2, kill these guys. You'll do it again. I mean, yeah, I can't escape the diamond diatribe. Oh man, my favorite end of the semester evals were, one of them was.
So this guy won't shut up about the diamonds.
No, they're better than that. It's like, after your lecture on diamonds, I went home and told my girlfriend I wouldn't buy her one ever.
Wow. Yeah, you broke up my marriage.
She cried, but at least I won't waste my money on diamonds. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I don't know, not to get too much in my wife's psychology, but she totally understands the arbitrariness of it all.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's
but also there is nothing but arbitrary. Like, we're humans. We're like, you're talking about like materiality and stuff. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares about materiality. Like, we're a species of symbols. We're not a species of matter. I mean, we're made of carbon, don't get me wrong, but you know what I'm saying. Like, meaning is not derived from the physical characteristics of whatever. It's built from all sorts of other bullshit that's been layered on from centuries of patriarchy and other stuff, right? So,
all right, so tap A on the.
I'm trying, man.
There you go. That's 2.
But I only got him because the dogs were close.
That's fine. We don't care. We count those. And we're not purists in this game.
But man, do you know about? I was telling you, she's got this paper on cremation diamonds. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Told them about that too. You can take your dead ones, take the carbon ash left over, and put them in diamonds.
So she hung out with those guys in Chicago that do that.
Wow.
And did a whole paper on them.
Holy shit, that is amazing. I mean, I would love. I'm not a traditionalist by any means, but I would love to have a family tree that's just like a diamond plaque.
That
Right?
would
Like
be pretty fucking metal.
You
man.
have that for like 10 generations. How epic that would be! Like display
how many-
that nice.
Yeah, but you know how many dead bodies you'd have to exhume to do that? Hey man, you should.
The
you
right
should,
amount.
I mean-
It's the right amount.
This is probably not related to your learning objection class at all. But if you ever want my wife to come into your class and
Oh,
lecture
man, I'd be
about
tempted.
how friggin' arbitrary diamonds are, she would do that.
Man,
And you
I
could
mean,
be like, hey, listen, this is an anthropologist saying this.
and that's well, that's one of my diatribes as well. It's like it's they're not precious or rare. It's just artificially, marketed that way. If you want
Yeah.
something rare, like get a ring out of dinosaur bone or meteorite or iridium or osmium or something that's actually cool
I
and
don't even know
unique.
what you're talking about, but that
Like,
sounds great.
Yeah, no, exactly. So,
Didn't I kill 3 of these guys already?
I don't think so.
I did.
Did he
man.
kill him 3 times? Did you pick up a ring? There's a card right there. Oh, yeah, left. Right there. Sorry, I completely missed
Oh,
it.
I haven't been picking up cards this whole time.
So that's the only card you need. All right, sorry. I
I get it?
I get
Am I
heated
getting
when
it?
I diatribe about the
No,
diamond.
because you get so excited about diamonds.
And healing crystals. Placebo is fine, but they're not replacing vaccines. Anyway.
Really?
End of
All right,
diatribe.
RFK.
Oh, too soon. Too soon.
Got that bear business. I was in Helsinki last month for a conference. And
Top of the screen. So way top of the screen. So, and you're going to try to get away from him. This is the second form of the final boss. So get going right.
I'm trying to
You're
pull
pressing up, press right.
I'm. It was good.
No, you're pressing up. Stop pressing up.
I'm pressing right.
Oh, now you're pressing right. Now you're good. Okay,
I was pressing right the whole time.
get
I
a reasonable
promise.
distance away, and what you're going to do is do the jump shot when you go, okay, stop moving, go back, and then jump
Because I
right.
want to get his.
Yep.
Oh, because I need to do the rocket?
Yep, you have to hit him in the hat with a rocket. So you have to jump, and on the way down, a rocket come out. Hell yeah, hot take. We talked about placebo effect.
Oh, man, did you see that?
Shit him. All right, no, there's, sorry, rockets to the face now. Okay, now what you're going to do is run away from him this way and get in between these 2 black lines. So down, and you're going to, as soon as you get a good distance away, turn around, shoot bullets. So hold A. And then you're going to move up and down as you hold it. Yeah, see how that vertebrae disappeared? So go again, get away from him.
Okay, I see.
Yep, just keep some distance. Wow, that was quick. We're on top of this. All right, turn around, hold A. You got another one? Run away from him again. Do that a bunch of times until all his vertebrae are gone. And that is essentially how you beat this game. Yep. There's another one. Do you feel the pressure? It's high
No,
stress.
man, I lost already. Listen, like. I mean, okay,
Oh,
here's an
2
interesting
more
question.
left. All right.
Can I be on the other side of him?
Yeah, you can go the
Oh,
other way.
okay.
Yep.
What percentage, like, if we were to map out, because you've got a sizable
Turn back
number.
and shoot.
Have you thought about mapping out? Oh, nice.
Keep going.
Have you thought about mapping out like the spread of time here? Like, what's the mean standard deviation?
I have not graphed that data, but I can tell you where you stand immediately after you're done with this.
Okay, that would be nice. Mr. Big International. Yo, this was a time when just like bad guys were named shit like Mr. Big.
And they were obvious black and white, just this is a bad guy, obviously.
man.
So go right. This is civil forfeiture, the level. No due process here. Just grab your money. You don't need the money. Just go
Oh,
right.
okay, right.
There's no
Sorry.
advantage there. All right, let's see where you stand. I was about a second late, so
No, get rid of that
9:16
second.
puts you at
Not great.
number 9-ish. Number
this is it?
9. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
That's number 9 out of roughly 75.
that's all right,
unique
man.
times.
That's all right.
No, that's an excellent time.
And I want to say that's without any. I didn't know this game existed.
Exactly.
I
You had
never
no
touched
practice.
the controller doing this game.
Yeah, usually I give my guests a little bit of time ahead of time, but we were troubleshooting StarCraft.
So what's that worth to you? 3 positions?
Well, so there's 2 behind a few of these people's names because they've come back twice. So next time
I see.
you're on stream, the record time is 16 minutes and 18 seconds for a guest.
And I'm at 19. Mm-hmm. I can shave 3 points off.
I mean, what's amazing is that where most people lose time is that Mr. Big jump rocket thing, and you got that very, very quickly. So you are on track. Oh man, we technically have 2 minutes left in stream. Any parting words for the audience? Audience, if you guys have any suggestions on who we should raid, put those in chat. Preferably education-related streamers, but whatever. We don't care. If you have some suggestions, we'll raid them. But David, let's kill 2 minutes.
Yeah, as y'all are typing whatever in, there's a game that we didn't play tonight that I really want to talk about. It's Tetris. Y'all know Tetris.
I mean, we could play a little Tetris.
Nah, I don't know. I'm at a place of peace with my gaming here.
You did win the war on drugs.
I did win the war on drugs. I don't want to. Man, my dad. So like, I begged for the NES. Like other kids at my school had. I was like, oh please get me the NES. Please get me the NES.
Yeah.
We finally got it. We had an old Commodore.
Commodore 64. Yeah.
We were too poor, I guess, to get an Atari. Anyway, so for my actually, I'm sorry, it was later. It was 1988. We finally got the Nintendo. You're gonna make me play this, aren't you?
No, you don't have to play it. Whatever. We're at almost 11 o'clock.
Wait, how come? Oh, that was
it was just a preview screen.
Right.
Yep.
So my dad was kind of a gamer. What's going on here? A-type. I'm telling you, but why don't you? Yeah, start. Okay. So I started playing Tetris a lot. I was like 8 years old, and I guess I got kind of good at it. I mean, as good as an 8-year-old could be. And then my dad would challenge me, and I would always beat him because I had a lot more time to devote to it and whatever, younger brain. But my dad was like really into games. Like in college, he was like the pinball master. His frat would just like go to bars with him. This is back in like late 50s, early 60s, and just like clean house. So I think he was kind of upset that I was winning all this. Like, how does my young son beat me at all this? So man, what do I do? I guess I'll do this. Oh yeah, look at my next. And so this one time after beating him for months and months, it was like a weekend. So like the family all went out to whatever place his family went out to at that time. And it was like probably
Pizza Hut is the answer.
Yeah, it's probably pizza. Exactly, man. You get it.
Book it. You remember that program?
I wasn't a part of that, but I totally know what you're talking about. So he waited for like late at night when I would be tired. And then he, no, I don't want to do that because the next, oh gosh, can I, yeah, whew. So he waited for me to be super tired, and then he challenged me and he beat me. Anyway, this is, maybe I should save this for my therapist, but the point is, the only time that I've ever lost a therapist or lost at Tetris to my dad was when he basically abused me and lied about what was happening.
I want to believe he was practicing for months before that. He's like, I'm gonna do it.
I wouldn't put it past him that, oh, y'all check out what's about to happen.
Man. So there's a scene in Family Guy where Joe, the guy in the wheelchair, is like, oh yeah, I remember the first time my son beat me. I gave him a victory punch, and then another, and then another, and then I just kind of blacked out. Yeah, that's what it was like. And now I'm a father, and I'm like, oh man, am I gonna be like that? The answer is yes. I mean, it's hard not to be competitive. The other thing that's hard, I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but when they start competing with other people, you're like, yeah, fucking get them, destroy them. I want you to win. It's hard not to feel that sometimes.
Yeah, finish him.
Yeah,
go for the knees.
Teach him a lesson. Sweep the leg.
Yeah, sweep the leg. That's right. That's the quote I'm looking for.
Oh, all right. Did you get enough Tetris in?
Yeah, I did just enough to. Oh, look at that! Oh my God, embarrassing! Quick, rewind before anybody saw that. Yeah, but yeah, as we're closing up Tetris here, man, I was reading that Washington Post article a few months ago about that guy who just finally black screened Tetris.
Oh yeah, you beat it, the kid. Yeah.
And I mean I don't follow competitive Tetris to know this is the thing that people were trying to do, but then when I found out that people invented a new way of holding
tapping.
Yeah, man, I love that so much. Exploiting. It's this is a game which is software, and what we were talking about earlier about what you did with NARC about
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnutting NARC. It's part of it, but then it's also so it's the software. Let's exploit the software.
Yeah,
which is the whole black screen or where they say. But then there's also something we can do about the controller.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like, it's like, no, ergonomically, how can we give the most efficient input to this system as possible?
Get as many clicks per second as you can. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's, I don't know, like, not that we have to wrap this up back into like music, but there's something beautiful about like, how can we take this?
Yeah.
This is what it's about, man. It's about like human ingenuity and creativity.
Yeah.
Like, how can we just take this to the nth level and just like maximize this
Across everything, right? Whether it's science or video games or music, I fully agree.
Humans are weird, man.
That's what I like. People talk shit about somebody that dedicates their life to beating Mario in 5 minutes and 53 seconds, or 4 minutes and 53 seconds. But it's like it's.
I don't see the difference between that and going to the moon.
Exactly. Like, I mean,
why'd you go to the moon? Because it's there.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You could say broader impacts and all sorts of stuff like that.
Man,
but I will not belittle any achievement.
Those guys, like what you think Buzz Aldrin cares about, like the science of whatever. No, he's basically just trying to speed run.
Yeah. No, it's the ultimate big swinging dick contest of
Exactly.
flight, right? Like, we get it. That's why Buzz did it, no question.
Man. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're at 11:04, so we're well past our time of at least 4 minutes. David, thank you for joining me, especially on such short-term notice. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you. I liked the Dirty Gin Martini much more than I should have. I thought it was going to overwhelm, but it did not, so that was great. But also the conversation, it's been awesome. We've shot the shit for 3 hours plus. Congratulations, we made reasonable progress. You beat a couple waves in Gears of War, right? We won a couple races in RC Pro-Am. Marble Madness got to the last level. We didn't beat that because we're mediocre at gameplay. You won the War on Drugs, and you got 14 lines in Tetris. So,
boom.
Congratulations on your gameplay. Again, thank you for joining me. It's been a lot of fun just talking and enjoying. I look forward to, second stream. We'll do it again. But yeah, with that said, do you have any parting words for the audience?
For the audience, no, I just want to have parting words for you, man. This is great. Yeah. Like, I appreciate you. I appreciate your ability to do something that's important and interesting, that might not necessarily seem legible to everyone immediately, but you clearly have an audience, that people that are able to read what you're doing, and I appreciate that.
Which we love. The audience shows up. You guys that are regulars, Schmodite, Misadventures, Midya, thank you for joining us as usual. Actually, I'll give you one more question for the night. If there was one thing you could share with the general audience that you wish everyone on Earth knew about your discipline or expertise, what would it be?
It's not about the F sharps.
Oh, man. Let's leave it at that. I don't even want to know why that's your answer. We'll save that for the next time you're on in like a couple years. That's the best cliffhanger we could ever supply to this stream. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is not about the F sharps, despite what the big media will tell you.
Big F sharp. Big sharp's always talking about the F's.
They bias it towards F sharps. We are going to leave it at that. I hope somebody knows what that means, because I don't. But I'm going to find out right after I get off stream, and I will know and you guys won't. So tune in for future streams. All right, speaking of future streams, in 2 weeks, we're going to have Dr. Kelly Farquharson. That is an intriguing name. It's a mix of like Swedish and French. I don't know where that came from. Right there. But anyway, she's a speech pathologist. She's particularly interested in language disorders, especially K through 12 students, and like speech therapy and how you process speech and things like that. And so she's in the communications department, as well as I think affiliated with education. So yeah, Kelly will be on in 2 weeks. She's asked to play Duck Hunt, which is surprisingly challenging to play, but I got a gun for it. So we're going to see if we can play some Duck Hunt in 2 weeks. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure. Stick around. We're going to raid some kind of educational related streamer, but yeah, you guys make the stream a lot of fun. Your questions are awesome. It's always a pleasure. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.